What up, y'all? Sorry. Editing my book while I wait to go on air. What's good, y'all? It's your man, Abuamerican. I'm back, like always. I'm trying to finish this book here. Many mistakes. Not many mistakes, but stuff that needs to be fixed. What's good? What's going on, people? It's late. Man, I gotta do these like shows late because it's just too hot. It is way too hot to be, messing around online. I got this fan blowing. Maybe you guys can hear it in the microphone. I don't know. But I just can't be doing these things earlier, man. It's way too hot up in here. I guess I might have to give me an air conditioner. But when I move, I'm gonna try and move places. So usually I do the show on Fridays, but I am busy these days and I do not have the time that I had before. Maybe inshallah in the future, the near future, I will, because like I said, projects are coming to a close, and so as more projects close, more time comes available. But at the moment, here I be. So since it seems like it's late on a Saturday night and nobody's around, everybody's out doing whatever they do on a Saturday night, I'm just going to talk about something. And if somebody pops up with a question, I'll answer the questions. I want to talk about like all these people popping up. Like, recently I've been focusing on like guys being their own fans, Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Abu Future Trunks. And like, being proud of yourself, your accomplishments, your achievements and whatnot, and acting accordingly. And conversely, there's been a group of people showing up talking about pride, kibber, this, that, the other, looking down on people. And, wallahi, I swear these people, their mothers were like, they were clumsy people. I don't mean this as an insult, but I think their mothers were clumsy people because they obviously dropped these people as babies. And then when they tried to pick them up, you ever like, dropped something and you try to pick it up and you kicked it and then it slides away from you. Then you run towards it and you kick it again. And you're like, okay, what the heck's going on here? I think that's what their mothers did to them as a baby, but not just one time. I think they did it like over several years because these people have to be like complete morons and idiots. Anyway, I'm writing about these people in this book here. And, they're just dumb. Let's just be honest. They're dumb. Listen, guys, there's nothing haram unless they can bring dalil about being proud of your accomplishments. We obviously, as Muslims, praise Allah. We say, Allahumma barak feek, I did this. Allahumma barak feek, I did that. MashaAllah, I did that. Alhamdulillah, I did this. Obviously. But there is nothing connected to looking down on people or whatever else in that. And also, they're saying like, if you say you're better than people, that this is haram. How? Someone tell me how. I want to learn here too. So if I train and I train hard, like a sprinter, and I do my sprints and I run up hills and I do hill sprints and I, do all this stuff, and then I get into a race and I win. Demonstrably, I'm better than everybody else in the race. And then I say, yeah, I'm the best. I won. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. I'm best. All that training paid off. Allahumma barak feek. I won. I'm better than everybody. Because I'm one. Because I'm number one. That's why I got first place. Haram. You're looking down on the people. What? No, I'm just better than you. That's all. I'm better than you at running. Obviously, it's contextual because you might not be better than him at like being an online geek, going online and, harassing people. Hey, you win that one. I win this one. Where's the haram? I'm better than you at running. I'm better than you at this. Doesn't necessarily mean, or it doesn't necessitate that he's overall a better person. Yeah, it's one thing. That's a completely different discussion. Only Allah can decide this one, unless we demonstrably see from the individual, acts of facade, fisk, or whatever else, or we see that his iman is like in a high and a good place, and we can assume the best from him, so inshallah, we think, okay, there's a better person, or we assume that there's a worse person. Be careful with that. Intebe. Still be careful with that, but in terms of like accomplishments, you beat somebody at something, you beat someone by something. It's just a simple fact of the matter. Where in Islam is that haram? Where is the looking down on people because of that? Nobody's talking about going around like, I'm a better human being than you because I run faster than you. You're just a sack of trash, blah, blah. And you like, you're condescending towards people because you run faster than them. But what these people, they want you to think it's haram to be good at what you do and speaking accordingly. And you know what this is? This is what I spoke about this. Where did I write this at? Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. These are religious losers. I made a video about it, actually. These are religious losers. These are people who fail at everything in life, and therefore they try and make their failure a virtue. But since they can't religiously make their failures in life a virtue, what they try and do is they try and make you be quiet. Because at the end of the day, that's all they want. They're not saying, be careful like this. They're not advising you with the book or the sun. They just want you to stop talking about your accomplishments and how good you've gotten at something. You see, the reason why they say looking down on people is because of the internal feeling they have. They feel bad that you're happy that you're doing good. And so now they've somehow externally projected that you are trying to make them feel bad because you feel good about accomplishments. No, I'm sorry. Me dulling down my shine and not shining won't make you anything other than a turd. You're still a turd. You're still a loser. Now, I'm not saying I'm better than you. I'm not. But I'm just saying me being quiet about being good at this or being good at running or being good at making money or being good at whatever else, it's not going to make you any better just because I'm quiet. It is what it is. So, I mean, people, if you don't like the fact that people, especially me, I can talk about my accomplishments and be happy about them, do better, work harder, get better at what you do, whatever it is you do. But you know you won't, because you know what? I coined the saying, those who can't compete, they complain. And you can't compete. You're just pathetic. And nothing I do, including being quiet about my accomplishments, are going to make you anything but pathetic. I'm not looking down at you. I'm not being condescending. I'm just saying that's your condition. Because if your condition was better, what are you doing online complaining? People who are better than me, and there are a lot of people who are better than me. You see them online? You see me online complaining to them? Why are you talking about what you did? You're so much... Okay, I just need to try harder. I need to work better. That's all I know. I just know I need to work harder and try harder in order to be better myself. No one can say, haram, you're being mutakabir, you're being kabir, blah, 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 and start throwing out ayats way out of context. I swear you people can't be helped. And then, it's funny. They continually come here for more. They literally camp out on my website, on my YouTube, on my Twitter. Weird people. I swear the Muslims, this is the imitation of the kuffar. If this ain't imitation of the kuffar, you just out here got time to camp online talking about dumb stuff that don't make no sense, and then try and make ta'wil of verses of the Quran in order to make it make sense to you because you suck. I can't help you. You know what I do when I suck at something? And I suck at stuff. I just get better at it. That's all I do. I don't go online, find somebody who's better than me at something and who talks about it and then complain to them about it. If a sister in her 20s, I haven't seen Musa Richards tweet about trolling. Wallahi, this is what I'm working on. I'm working on my book. It's about trolling. And the only reason why I wrote this book is to show trolls that if you would focus, you can make money online. There's no other reason why I'm writing this. So I'm using the trolls to make money. The trolls show up to my page. I make screenshots. I put it in the book. And you know what's going to happen? Wallahi, I swear by Allah, I'm going to make at least one sale. I don't know the unseen, but I just know the world. And if I make one sale, they've proved my point. That concerted effort in something productive is better than concerted effort in something that's completely unproductive, like trolling. Honor H, I want to see that. I want to see that tweet, man. You got to link me, man. I'm going to go check his page out, but trolls are just pathetic. They're useless. So if a sister in her 20s was divorced twice, would you, from an outside perspective, without asking, view it as a negative? I mean, 20 is pretty young. I don't know if you can view it as a negative, man. I don't know, because you got to look at the people of our time. Here's the thing. I would say maybe 100 years ago, yes. Nowadays, and I hate saying this, but I don't know if we can see it as a negative in our time. I really don't know, because it's more like she's a woman of our times. Do you see what I'm saying? Because the divorce rate is so high in the Ummah nowadays that this is almost part of our culture. And really, man, that sucks to say that. So I'm not really sure you can see it as a negative. I would question her ability to, like, bond with an individual, with an individual, with her husband, because I mean, if you in your 20s, if you divorce twice in your 20s, that's pretty hefty, man. Twice in her 20s. You know what I'm saying? Not just once, but twice. I definitely, I have my eyes open, in terms of vetting for like negative attributes and behaviors, like what led to this, because there's always two sides to the stories. No woman is a 100. It's rare that a woman is a 100% victim to whatever situation that led to her being divorced twice. It's rare. There's always two parties in one play. So, you got to find out what script she was reading from. I mean, once you could say, you can make the excuse, yeah, maybe it went bad for her. She got a bad husband, this, that, the other. Twice. Now you have to start asking questions, like, okay, damn, you suck. You know what I mean? But I mean, here's the thing. It's easier for a woman to be kept by a man than it is for a man to keep a woman. Do you see what I'm saying? So for a man to be divorced twice, and I know it's going to sound like a double standard, but there's no double standard. So for a man to end up divorced multiple times, that's pretty easy, because guys got so much on their necks in terms of expectations from females and what women expect from him as a man, that it's hard for a man to like fulfill all of those expectations, especially in the 21st century, where social media is playing a role in her life and, in her expectations of what a man is, what it isn't, what he's supposed to be, what he's not supposed to be, and all these other types of things. Competition with like thousands, if not hundreds, if not thousands of men online, oh, he doesn't give me attention, like, the 980 other guys online. It's kind of tough for a guy to compete with all of that, with Disney and all this other stuff she got in her head. But a woman, really, what does a woman have to do to keep a man happy and in a relationship? We obviously know not much. We know that women go into marriages, they end up like turning into like land whales and hippopotamuses, whatever, and guys happily stay with these women. As long as she shows some modicum of like physical and emotional affection and attachment to him, he'll stick through the dumbest situations to stay with that woman. So for a man to end up divorced multiple times, it's different than a woman ended up multiple times, because men will put up with a lot of crap from women just so he can, get laid regularly and consistently. But women, not much so. So it's a bit strange. No, it was the time frame. We had like, like right now, it's like maybe 3 something in the morning over there. Maybe not, maybe later. No, I think it's even later over there. So our time schedules, me and Gabriel, we unfortunately, we can't match up our time schedules because of the time differences. So we ended up not doing it anymore. There might be some individual shows in the future, potentially. I mean, I still talk to him. We're on, we're cool and all, but like a regular show, I don't think it's gonna happen. Maybe I'll talk to him. Maybe there could be like a once a month show or something, But for him to do weekly shows with me, it was very tough for him, Assalamu alaikum. Before figuring out why, what should be kept in mind about a woman whose father left her mother and siblings when she was a young teenager? I mean, you can't do anything about that stuff. This is out of your hands. So, like, discussing all that stuff, why her father left, all that stuff, it's completely pointless. Discussing the why her father left, she's a young teenager. It doesn't make any sense, to even go into that. What's important for you to know and try and figure out is, does she know how to live with a man in a good way? Which is of course going to be difficult with her if she grew up in a household with a single mother. But if it was in her teens, then she had a long time or a pretty good stretch of like understanding of what a man and woman look like when they live together. Now, as to whether or not that was a positive image, is another thing. This is what you need to decide. Was that image that she has in her mind of how her mother and father lived together up until her teens, was it a positive one or a negative one? Because if her mother felt it was okay to talk wild and reckless to her husband, what do you think she's going to grow up thinking? It's okay to talk wild and reckless to my husband, because that's her reproductive model. People could say what they want to say about, like, adab and all this type of stuff, and reading from the book and the Sunnah. I've married highly religious women who were absolute trash when it came down to how they spoke to their husbands, aka me, and previous husbands, or they wouldn't have had ex-husbands other than myself. So, and when it comes down to their religion and how they behave, beautiful manners when it comes down to the religion, except when they were expected to be a wife. So, and then it gave you, and then looking further into it, this is how I added this into the vetting guide. Looking further into it, I came to the conclusion and the understanding, like, oh, you had bad reproductive models, aka your mother and your father. And so this is how that ended up in my vetting guide, because I was like, aha, what's going on here? Because a lot of times these women had behaviors growing up in Muslim families, and I'm not attacking Muslim families, but 1 second, let me handle this. My man Red Sings the Blues with $2 super chat. What's good, man? Yeah, it's been a minute, bro. Where you been, man? But my family, they were non-Muslims. Dysfunctional behaviors and communications didn't take place between my mother and my father. I never saw them raise their voices at each other. I never saw them yell at each other, scream at each other, attack each other, hit each other, none of that stuff. I never saw that. So for me, when I started dealing with some women, and this was like the case, and they grew up in Muslim families, and they started like attacking me, yelling at me, or whatever else. This was completely like totally new territory for me. I had no idea how to deal with this, because I had no methods in my mind from what I saw of my parents, how they dealt with like this in their relationship, because that was dysfunctional behavior. That's not something that took place in our house. So this is what's important to you. Figure out, does she know how to live with a woman? I mean, live with a man as a woman. That's what's important to you. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's your opinion on having separate beds and not being all clingy with one spouse? The more attention you give, the less attractive you become. I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking if I ever not shared it. No, I've never not shared a bed with one of my wives. I personally wouldn't do it. I don't know. Maybe there's some merit to it. I don't know. I've heard of like couples that do this type of stuff, but I have no experience with it. So it'd be difficult for me to talk about it. But I mean, I have no experience with it. I find it odd, actually. In terms of like growing distance, in terms of the whole concept of distance makes fondness grow. I personally use different methods in terms of communication, using the phone, whatever else, like handies and all that stuff. Like a lot of times I won't respond, because I just want to be on my day doing my stuff, and I want to think about it. For the most part, my parents had a very good relationship. Our grandparents had good relationships, and they weren't in contact with each other all day. My dad went out of the house. There was no such thing as a cell phone when I was growing up. Imagine that. Cell phones didn't exist. There was a landline at his job. There was a landline at home. They didn't just call each other and be on the phone all day at work, whatever else, just talking. That's what you're doing when you're like talking to her on the phone all day. Oh, hey, how you doing? How's the weather? Blah, blah, blah. I ate chicken. Just woke up. What? This is why it's not a separate bed that would be the problem in terms of like, becoming too comfortable. It's a matter of your cell phone and all this type of stuff, where she just constantly has just unabated 24/7 access to you. That's boring. That can lead to boringness, or boredom, in my humble estimation, more so than, having a bed that's together instead of sleeping in separate beds. But that's just my opinion. Take with or leave it as you wish, inshallah. Because like I said, I don't have experience with sleeping in separate beds. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh from Germany. Bing. What is one of the easiest or worst ways some Muslim brothers end up losing frame in their marriage? one of the biggest problems I see is they see their father's relationship with their mother and they don't understand how he got there. They want what their dad has most of the times. They don't know how their dad got there. Guys nowadays, one of the biggest problems I see with the Muslims is this, and this is connected to what I just said. A lot of guys want to they want to demand respect, but they don't command it. Let me repeat that. Most Muslim men demand respect, but don't command it. And it's not that way. It works the opposite way. You command respect. You don't have to demand it. It's like when you're an expert in your field. If you're an expert in your field, when you speak, everybody stops and listens. They're like, okay, wait, hold on. So-and-so is talking and he knows what he's talking about. He's really good at what he does. So everybody respects your opinion on your job because they know you're good at it. Well, the relationship's not much different. Either you command that respect because you have what it takes to actually get it from her, or you don't. And this is why I'm always telling guys, do all your stuff, go to the gym, go to fight clubs, always constantly progress and make yourself better. All this type of stuff that the guys who keep coming on my channel keep telling you is kibber and pride and whatever else, and you shouldn't do, and I should stop telling you about. All that stuff is the stuff you should be doing in order to command respect instead of demanding it. This is the number one mistake I see most Muslim men making. The demanding of respect and this, that, the other, and obedience and subservience and this, that, the other. And I want my wife to be like this and I want her to be like that. And blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, you want all this stuff. I want $1 million just thrown in my window right here. Does that mean I go out there, throw me $1 million? Hey, you down there? Start yelling out my window. This is what guys look like. You look crazy. And this is what a lot of Muslim men do. They're not in a position to command respect. They look goofy. They act goofy. They behave goofy on and offline. And then they go to their wife and wearing a cap for me. Nigga, she won't tie your shoes. You think she's going to wear a cap for you? This is the number one problem I think is that I see with Muslim men when I talk to them. Why are we meant to reveal our qualifiers in a marriage meeting, or should we just ask questions which will prove whether they pass? Just ask questions. Don't give them qualifiers. When a woman asks you, see, women look for the qualifiers already or the disqualifiers. They say, what are you looking for in a woman? What are you looking for in a wife? She's looking to set the situation up to where it's like, I'm going to meet all his qualifications. And now, I could say, he didn't meet my qualifications. I was everything he wanted in a woman, but he wasn't like this and he wasn't like that. Don't tell her. All she's trying to do is put up this situation where it's like she feels or she acts like she meets all your qualifications. She qualifies, or she surpasses all your disqualifications, and now puts you in the hot seat of being disqualified. Takes the heat and pressure off her. When she asks you, what are you looking for in a wife? I don't know. I'll know when I find her. It'll just click. I'll know it. I'll see it. Boom, and just go from there. How are you going to vet a woman, and how are you going to test for certain things if she already knows the answers? You see what I'm saying? You gonna give her the cheat sheets? I mean, if you want her to pass, okay, fine, but that doesn't mean she should be in that job. It's like giving the doctor, okay, this is your final test, whatever else. I know doctors don't take no final ABC test or something, but just work with me here. Here's the test, and here's a cheat sheet. And then 2 weeks later, they cut someone's heart out while trying to deal with appendicitis. You know what I'm saying? Why are you gonna give them the answers? Maybe they're not qualified, So don't give her the answers, bro. How should you act to present yourself when you're in front of a potential wife? How you can get her to fall for you? I think that I don't think it's possible to get her to fall for you, or it shouldn't be possible to get her to fall for you prior to marriage. There's too many. Yeah, I don't think it's possible. I mean, I think you have to be married to get her to fall for you. Really, the only thing that could make her fall for you before marriage is you just actually absolutely her type. We know that attraction is not a choice. There are women you just, you see them, you're like, ooh, Allahu Akbar. You look away because she's attractive. She's just attractive. In terms of her visuals, she is absolutely your type. Attraction is not a choice. Women fall under the same category. They do that too. But then, then it gets deeper in terms of like, are you that guy? Do you have the personality, social acumen, all these types of other stuff? Do you have the finances? All these other things that come into play after that. And a lot of that can't come into play until you're married. So for the most part, I don't know if it's possible to get her to fall for you before marriage. And I don't even know if that's ideal or something that should be desired, because what if it doesn't work out? And then this happens once, happens twice, happens 3 times. You see what I'm saying? Then you're just going around getting women falling for you and you never get married because you don't know if you're going to get married. What's written is unknown to you. You might want to get married to her. She might want to get married to you, but then maybe her parents have different ideas. Maybe your parents don't like her, this type of other stuff. If they're an influence, in all of this stuff, in terms, like my parents aren't an influence, but when I say, if your parents aren't an influence. So these types of things you probably just, not concern yourself with, just make sure you meet the qualifications to be a husband in the Islamic sense, and then go from there. And all this other type of stuff that I'd be telling you guys to do, make sure you have the confidence, competence, the physicality, all this type of stuff. When you walk in a room, you're probably going to be your type if you're following my advice. You're going to walk in a room. Imagine a guy who's not scared of anything except Allah. The dude exudes confidence. There's a guy at my job. He's confident as heck. I had to knock him out in an instant. But he's just confident because he's good at his job, this, that, the other, and he has a delusional self-image of who and how he is. I know it's delusional because I look at him and I know it because he's got like, beer belly and all this type of other stuff. But that doesn't change the fact that, when he walks in the room, you can see this guy is confident. He's self-confident. And despite his beer belly and his, cherub, big round face, he's good with women. He's a non-Muslim guy. He's good with women because of that confidence. Is it justified? Obviously not. In like almost 90 topics, I'll whip his butt, except for the job we do. From physicality to fighting to making money, this type of other stuff. I got him beat. But that doesn't change the fact that he is 100% a confident individual when he walks in a room, despite knowing that, in a one-to-one competition of stuff between us, I'd beat him out every time. And that's why it works for him with women, despite his big beer belly. So I'm not saying have a beer belly. Definitely don't drink beer. But I'm just saying, get that confidence or whatever else. Follow those instructions. I tell you guys all the dang time about, getting in shape, go to fighting clubs, all this type of other stuff, everything that you should be doing. Then when you walk in a room, you should, inshallah, have the same effect on the women that this guy has on women, strangely. So yeah, but that right there, this is the stuff they don't want me saying. How can you test her attraction level to you if you only go to one marriage meeting to her house? When she says yes. There's no other way to tell, bro. She's gonna say yes or no. If she says yes, boom, you pass the attraction test. If she says no, you know what? You failed the attraction test. It's really that simple, bro. It's not more complicated than that. Why yak? So why yak? Why yak, Sarm? Why yak? So yeah, unless someone can show me otherwise, in terms of going back to the original topic, until we get more questions in here, unless someone can show me otherwise that it's haram to be happy and, proud of yourself for your accomplishments. And if you're better than someone at something, to say it's haram, to say you're better than that person at something, then I'm gonna keep at it, inshallah. And may Allah bless the person if they can bring me that proof. If someone can bring me that proof, where if I win a race and I say, yeah, I won, ha ha ha, bang bang bang, I beat all you guys. I beat all you guys, and I'm happy. I'm not saying I'm a better human being than you. I'm just saying I beat you at a race. I'm good at racing, so I beat you at a race. Someone can show me that's haram. I'll wait. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This one is way off topic. That's okay. You can ask me a whole bunch of questions. Just don't get too crazy with them. What's your thoughts on Chinese government investing or rebuilding the African continent? A lot of people say it's a trap, but it doesn't look like it. I think it's a trap, personally. When I look at how China is acting, I think it's a trap. Because basically what they do is they're basically giving like high interest loans. And then they're not really helping the people of Africa. In my humble estimation, from what I've spoken to from Africans and whatnot, they give high interest loans. We'll build you a road, and then you pay us for building the road. Then they go there and they start building a road, and then they don't hire locals to build the roads. They don't hire Africans, so it doesn't help Africans. You see what I'm saying? So Africans are there, still unemployed, need employment. Chinese are bringing in their own material, bringing in their own workers, and then those workers are coming around, getting women pregnant. We've seen this in the news. You can see it in the news. You can see the reports. You can see like articles online, getting women pregnant, then going back to China, and they're leaving like a bunch of single mothers there with like mixed kids that have like a local communal stigma because they obviously look mixed. And so what they're doing is they're disrupting the society. Then they're going there, they're building infrastructure. They're not hiring locals, which is not helping the infrastructure. Though the locals, they're getting basically sucked dry, because there's no way the country can pay for that infrastructure because the workers aren't working and paying taxes to the local government. So how are they going to pay that money back? It's just a chain reaction of crap. And then what happens? China's like, oh, well, you guys defaulted on a loan, we're building it, and you guys pay us to build it. And so we now own it. And so what happens? They now own a part of Africa. And then they just keep doing this over and over and over and over and over and over until they are going to end up owning Africa. It's quite smart of them, actually. Bug was like crazy, like, take me to your leader. I was like, what the heck? If they don't pay up, then the African country has to give massive amounts of lands to the Chinese. Boom. Man, Bob said it. Absolutely right. And that's exactly what they do. And that's the plan. So they're going in there and they're just basically like, they're just recolonizing Africa. They're just not doing it at gunpoint. They're just taking over the nation. They're taking over the nation, the continent, one nation at a time. And it's not good. I see it as bad. Unless the Africans want to do like they did in Tanzania. But then I don't think that's going to work out again. Not Tanzania, excuse me. What was that? What's Tanzania? Dar es Salaam belonged to Tanzania, right? Yeah, Dar es Salaam belongs to Tanzania. And I don't think they could pull that off with the Chinese, because there was a lot of like, at that time, there were Asians of Indian descent, and they had taken over most of East Africa. And they had a really strong foothold in Tanzania. And the Tanzanians got tired of basically being mistreated. And they were mistreated. I'm not justifying what happened. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. But they were mistreated in their own country. They weren't allowed certain levels of education. They weren't allowed into government positions in their own country. They were like blocked out of almost everything by Indian nationals or nationalized Indians, people of Indian descent in their own country. And nobody really knows who gave the locals weapons, but someone gave the locals a bunch of weapons and they went through and they just basically, it was genocide. They mass murdered a whole lot of people, mostly Indians. You can actually see video footage of this online. There was one helicopter pilot who actually managed to get video of the events, and they massacred those people. You can't pull that off with the Chinese. Chinese are too powerful. I'm pretty sure the Chinese will intervene on behalf of their people. So I think Africa is going to be a lost continent to the Chinese if this keeps up. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah, the Chinese got money and are all investing all over the world. What would that mean for the future? Nothing good. It doesn't mean anything good for Muslims. That's for dang sure. Because we know what they're doing to what they like to call Uyghur Muslims in China. What, you think they're going to change their program when they go somewhere else? They already set the precedents to the world and told the world how they're going to treat other ethnicities and other religions when they get power. So what do you think they're going to do in Africa if they get power? Same thing they did in China. Well, it's off to the camps for you Muslims. We're going to marry all you Muslim women off to all these, pagan non-Muslim guys. And then the Muslim guys, we're going to put you in labor camps. And your kids, we're just going to retrain them to think they're something they're not. So, yeah. They're going to do it too. There's no way they're not going to do it. China is quietly planning to colonize the continent. It might take the next few decades to see the end results. Yes, they're going to do it. They're going to be successful. Who's going to stop them? China's taking over the world, and they're just doing it economically. They're just not doing it at the point, at gunpoint, unless someone comes along and actually like dislodges them. And then China, they have a strong military. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're willing to fight, So whatever the situation is going to be, it's going to be ugly. How's life in Germany? It's all right. It's not bad. Could always be better. Taxes are too high. And it's hot right now, man. It's not just the heat. It's the humidity. Germany, it'll like downpour and rain for like 5 minutes. And you got to deal with the humidity for like the next 2 days. It's insane. This is tea, unsweetened. You see, there's literally the tea bags are in there. It's unsweetened tea. It's quite good. I believe this is fruit. I don't know what fruits are in here, but they've apparently squeezed fruit into tea bags, and you just put this in the refrigerator, no sugar or anything, and just drink it. My man, it is like a refresher on a hot day. I know nothing of this topic. I wish I could speak on it. I don't know anything about that right there. I do know that oh yeah, they did. No, I did read about this. Yeah, the US gave those people some technology for them, aka allies, quote unquote, and they sold it to the Chinese. Those bunch of wankers, man. The cannibals. They eat weird stuff, man. Where you think we got this this recent flu that went around the world that had us wearing masks and whatnot, eating bats and stuff, These people eat everything. I'm not surprised. They eat everything. They eat everything. They eat bats. Who eats bats? Pythons and alligators eat bats. I don't know if alligators eat bats. I don't know how they get to them, but I know pythons and other things that could, potentially get them in a tree. They eat bats. But yes, thank you. The China flu. But they eat everything. Those people eat everything. They eat everything. It's weirdos, man. Who eats bats? I literally saw a video of a lady eating a bat. Who eats a bat? Weird, man. News to me. I mean, but I don't really look at that type of stuff. I'm grossed out by people eating bats, so I don't want to see people eating people. That's just yeah, Germany are talking about the fourth wave. I'm like, geez, man, how many waves are we gonna have? Like, what is this, beach now? We got like just a wave every like 5 minutes. What's going on here? Well, in preparation for the fourth wave, nigga, I missed the first two. What the heck, dude? It's mad. Don't get me started, bro. You can get me demonetized. I already got a strike on my channel for talking about this topic. I literally got a strike on my channel for posting a video of people, Germans, posting facts. They were literal, like numerical facts, something that is 100% undeniable. You can do the math and say, oh yeah, these people are right. I posted that video. They deleted the video and they gave me a strike against my channel. Get off me. Get. You see that thing? Crazy old bug attacking my ear. There's a whole room to fly in here and he lands on my ear. What? A whole room. This place is massive. And he flies across the room and now he's landing on my toe. What is wrong with this thing? Here, go. My ear? Seriously? And see, that's why I'm going to kill you. So anyway, sorry. The frick was that all about? I told you he was like, take me to your leader. I guess he thought I didn't hear him the first time. He wanted to get right up in my ear. Like, make sure he whispered in there, take me to your leader. Baby. So anyway, Um, where were we? Before I got distracted. Um, no, sorry. Yeah. It wasn't a fly, that was a moth, bro, and it's a big moth. Did you see that thing? It was a moth landed on my ear. You talk about a fly. That was a moth, homie. This is when the moths land on your ears. Sorry. Back to questions. Do you think if a daughter or a son does not have a loving father, it will affect them massively in life? My friend does not have a good relationship with his father and rarely shows affection. It can affect the way you turn out. I mean, like, we didn't have a really affectionate family in terms of, like, physical affection. My father never hugged me or anything like this. And so for me, it was new and it was difficult for me to hug my children. I do it now easily, but it was trained. I had to train myself because my kids like it, but it's something I didn't receive when I was a kid. And then it was odd to actually do it at first, like, hugging my kids and stuff. Listen to how weird that is. Why would it be odd for me or weird for me to hug my kids? It's not anymore, but I had to train myself into it. And it didn't take years, but it took a long time, longer than I thought it should. I was like, why is this weird? It just felt weird because it's not something that I was used to growing up with. So it can, I suppose it could, if a person like actually doesn't learn how to like cope with like these, mental situations. I don't know what else to call it. I don't want to call it trauma. It's not a trauma. It didn't traumatize me. I mean, that doesn't mean it's not a trauma just because it didn't traumatize me, but I don't see how it could be a trauma, but it could in some people. We're in the age of sensitivity, so yeah, I suppose it could, but I don't see how it should. But that's from my personal perspective. Homie, you got that stuff, man? You got the shots? Okay. All the best to you, homie. I'm not getting it, man. I had the Rona and it wasn't that bad. So, I'm not getting a shot for it. If you can only afford one wife currently, is it unwise to tell your potential first wife that you would marry a second wife if you become financially ready for it? Yes, it's unwise. I wouldn't do it. I said this before, and I've said this on other shows. If you talk about a second wife without having a second wife, you're going to deal with all the problems of having a second wife without having the benefits of the second wife. So because your first wife's going to freak out and she's going to have an emotional, flip out. And I mean, this is what women do. They're emotional creatures. She's going to get upset. She's going to, stress you out. Because she's stressed out. And so, don't put her through a bunch of stress and then put yourself through a bunch of stress also. I say this all the time, man. I don't think America's evil. I think America's a falsehood nation. I don't think it's an evil nation at its core. I mean, it's a nation based upon kufr and shirk, But I mean, we're in the West. That's what we know. That's where we are. And this is also a strange reason, or excuse me, this is another reason why I find it strange that people leave their Muslim countries, even if they're imperfect, to come to like the West. And then it's like, why'd you leave? What? I just find it weird. I miss like having a masjid on every corner. I had my problems with living in the Khalij, in the Gulf. I had my problems with the people, but it was beautiful having a masjid on every corner where you could like throw a rock and hit 5 masjids, so I don't know why people would leave that. For the life of me, I don't understand it. But I don't think the U.S. is evil. And, people, especially the Muslims, I swear the Muslims, I don't know what's wrong with them. I swear they've collectively been dropped and kicked as babies. We talked about this at the beginning of the show. These are the people who went out and said, vote for, what's that guy's name? The guy that's president, right? Biden. See, that's what I think of that guy. They said go out and vote for Biden over Trump. And now Biden's proven to be like just the worst enemy to the Muslims that you come across. It's the same thing when Muslims start talking about, oh, I hope America falls, whatever else. Okay, and who are they going to be replaced by? Russia or China? How are either of those better than the United States? Just by any stretch of the imagination, someone tell me how China being the world's police force or Russia being the world's police force is better than America. And things are really going to just like, it's all going to be, flowers and sunshine and ice cream and cookies, for everybody after that. The Muslims are going to be doing so much better because of that. I swear there must be some dumb people. I just don't know. This is why Muslims are suffering, because we got a bunch of dummies just running around here saying dumb stuff. I'm not saying that in my ideal world, the United States is running the world. That's not what I'm saying. I'd like to see, I'm going to say it. I'd like to see a Muslim nation running the world. I'd love to see it. I don't care what other Americans think about that. That's what I like to see. But if I had a pick after that, well, you can't have that Abuamerican. Okay, well, I'll take America. That's all I'm saying. I started watching Halal Baba series and couldn't find episodes 6 and 11. Did you have to delete them later on? It could be they were deleted. It could be that YouTube pulled them and I didn't know it. You know, a lot of times that happens. YouTube will pull a video and they won't even tell me they do it. You know, shadow banning is real. It could be that we deleted them, or it could be that they were numbered wrong. That could be the case. You know, because the brother JW told me that I did have like one set of videos like numbered wrong, and so it could be that I changed the numbering and then it just got thrown off somewhere. Or like I said, YouTube pulled them. Best way to tell is to go onto my library account. You can find videos on my library account that you won't find on YouTube because YouTube pulls videos regularly and they don't tell me. Would you agree that if a daughter doesn't receive affection from her father, then she'd look for that affection elsewhere from another man? I've heard this being said often. It would appear to be correct. It would appear that that is correct from what we see, you know, from both statistics and just actual, like, you know, life experience. But there's always going to be exceptions to this. It doesn't, I don't think it necessarily needs to be true, but it seems to be by far and large true. I don't, in a haram way. Okay. In a haram way, Allahu Alam, you know, I tend to, you know, unlike, you know, most of my detractors, I tend to try and have like a sense of husnul done amongst the Muslims. So I'd like to think that they wouldn't. It is possible. Everything's possible, obviously. But I like to think the vast majority of sisters, they go out and they just try and get married. I've seen no sisters who haven't, but I think most sisters tend to try and get married. How can I tell if a guy's just playing? He's not serious. I mean, it's really that simple, guys. Guys, when he likes you, when he really wants to marry you and he wants to be with you, he's going to want to talk to your dad ASAP. Okay, let me talk to your wali. You know, but if a guy's just playing, it's like that one sister that asked the questions like a few weeks ago. You know, the guy wants to, they what was it? How long did she say? 9 months or something like this? They were talking some crazy long time, talking for 9 months. And then when she said, like, you know, hey, let's get married, he's like, no, I need more time. 9 weeks. It's too long. You know what I mean? So if he's serious, he's going to want to get married ASAP. If he's playing and he needs all the time in the world, I need to get to know you, I want to be your friend, blah, blah, blah. No. He's just playing. He want to get in your pants. You know? No. Absolutely not. Can I release the honesty talk video? No, I can't. It stays in the premium section. Because here's the thing. Even that little short clip, it just brings all sorts of weirdos to the page. And that's why I put it behind the paywall. Because weirdos, and this is in here, it's in my book I'm writing about trolls, and you know, these idiots that come onto your thing and they just, you know, they're looking for their outrage porn. They're not going to pay in order to like view content like that. You know, and although I joke in it and whatnot, you know, there are serious points in there that I bring up. You know, anybody who's seen it can tell you I tend to, like, you know, bring mostly, you know, 99% serious points, but I keep it entertaining because, you know, people get bored if you just sit there and rattle off, you know, dry, you know, statistical numerical data facts or whatever else, why they're incorrect. You know, people get bored real quick. I throw in an entertainment factor, but the reality is, you know, these people, they have like online personalities like Honest Tea Talk, all these other people, you know, Mufti Mink and all these other cats. It's like football teams. They just got like loyal followers, and it doesn't matter what those people do. They're just gonna have loyal followers. And if you can bring whatever facts you want, whatever information you want, that Arsenal team is gonna be Arsenal. Arsenal team can play like crap, and they don't, you know, they're not gonna care. It's Arsenal. The other guys cheated or whatever else. They're just gonna be, you know, stupid. And so it's the same thing with that video. You know, make that video public. All I'm going to do is have a bunch of drama. You know, that's all I'm going to have is just a bunch of drama on my YouTube comment section. And I really, you know, it's already enough with just that little short, like couple-minute clip that's up there. There's already too much drama. That's why I just block people nowadays. People just come on, make stupid comments. I just block them now. You know, I just block them. I'll even delete their comments, you know, just to frustrate them. I'll just block them and delete them, you know. So, no. And then there's an effect. If you look in psychology, because I was doing research for my book here, there's an effect in psychology called the broken window effect. And basically that is the psychological effect where it's like if there's one broken window in a neighborhood, it's more likely that more broken windows will appear because of the mentality that vandalism is okay in this neighborhood and in this, you know, section of a neighborhood. So the more spray paint there is on a wall, the more that there's likely to appear. The more broken windows there are in an area, the more broken windows will pop up. And so that's what happens to your social media account if you allow like a bunch of weirdos just come up and start like trolling and acting stupid and making stupid comments. You know, it's basically the broken window effect, but on your social media account. So if you like let these stupid idiots show up because you like let them see these videos for free, what do you think is going to happen? It's just more stupid idiots are going to show up. And so now I just block these people, delete them, because, you know, I'm not trying to make a ghetto hood social media account. Nice. The golf was all right, man. It was all right. I mean, I had my problems there. You know, I wrote about it in my book, The Mad Monkey, and I talked about it and why I left. But in general, it was good. It wasn't bad, man. I like the golf, you know, but I did have my share of problems there. I'll agree. You know, I like my country. I'm an American, you know. I come from a military serving family. I have a son that serves in the military, you know. Inshallah, he gets out soon, you know. You know, we're Americans at the end of the day, you know, and looking at the way the Muslims act online, I ain't got nowhere to go other than America. So I'm not throwing my country under the bus. But yeah, it's an imperfect nation, you know, because the Muslims are too racist, you know, to claim other Muslims. So it's my country will claim me no matter what, even though they put me on a no-fly list. Oh, barakallah feek. And you too. I mean, jazakallah khair. I have everything. I have all their passwords, their phones, everything. I just don't check it. You know, there's a difference between being able to check and actually check. I mean, sometimes I check it, but it's like maybe like once every 4 months or something, you know. It's not too often. And it's not like a what do you call it? It's not like, well, let me go see what's going on here now and let's see if she's cheating or whatever else, you know, and like start looking in there. It's just, you know, it's just like I might be on the phone and you know, or I'll use her phone or I'll be on my social media and I'll just check it, you know. I'll just be like, okay, what's going on here, whatever else, you know. So yeah, it's not like really an active thought in my head, but I need it to be an active thought in their head that I do have access to their social media, you know, because then you start seeing like behaviors when you have access to their phone and then like they know you have access to their phone and then behaviors will pop up. This is like something that I developed over time when dealing with Becky, you know, and I came up with a lot of like new techniques and whatnot and tactics because Becky used to like hide a lot of stuff with her phone. So I have access to everything and they don't have access to everything of mine, you know, although I think she has access to my stuff now, but I tell her, don't go looking for stuff, you know, because you can find stuff that you don't want to see. It's like, you know, don't go asking questions you don't want answers to. But generally, it's not. If you have multiple wives, it's a good idea for her, not any of your wives, to have access to your social media. And that's simply because your wife will send you information and things and statements that she shouldn't see, and you're going to send statements to her that she shouldn't see, and vice versa. She's going to say things to you, and you're going to say things to her that she wouldn't want a co-wife to see. So there's no way she should have access to your phone, especially if you have multiple wives. Especially if you have multiple wives. But there's no reason why you shouldn't have access to her social media, because men are the maintainers and guardians of women. It's not the other way around. They were talking about polygyny. The Honest Tea Talk video, they were talking about polygyny, and yeah, it was quite predictable, unfortunately. How does living in Germany compare to living in the UK, especially as Muslim? UK is significantly better to live as a Muslim. As a general citizen of, like, you know, the West, I don't know how good it is because it seems like they're turning into dictators recently. But as a Muslim, it's significantly better living as a Muslim in the UK as opposed to Germany. It's just, I haven't been to a single part of London, and I've been all over London. I mean, I've literally been from top to bottom, east to west, north to south. You can't go anywhere in London and not find Muslims with a masjid, halal butcher shop, halal shops everywhere. You can go anywhere in London and find Muslims there. And going around Germany, man, you're going to drive for a long time before you find some Muslims. You might see Muslims running around randomly, but you ain't going to find a halal butcher shop. You ain't going to find a masjid. You ain't going to find this. You ain't going to find that. You're not going to find actual communities of Muslims everywhere all over the place in the UK. You can go to like the bush in the UK and there'll be some room like in some little back office that's actually a prayer place. You're like, what the heck? How is this a mass shit? But it is. You don't find it in Germany, man. The UK is like on some next level, man. It's some next level stuff with the Muslims. I tried exiting your membership channel, but I can't seem to find it. What do you mean membership channel? I'm confused. You mean for YouTube? They just like it's at the bottom. It says join channel. Yeah, exactly. The join button. There's a join button. What? Yeah, it should be next to the subscribe button. You can join the channel, or you can a tongue twister. You can subscribe and you can join the channel. There should be two buttons. Okay, shukran. Thank you. Is marrying a revert in the West a bad choice because they're usually promiscuous in the past? I've been contemplating this for a long time, man. I've really been thinking about this for a while. Becky left a bad taste in my mouth. Not that kind of bad taste, guys. You perverts don't think like that. She left a bad taste in my mouth because she's a revert, and she had a lot of bad habits that she brought with her from Jahiliyyah into Islam. And some of it's her fault, some of it's not her fault. Obviously, for whatever reason, I don't know who it was that gave her dawah. Her dawah story was kind of odd to me. It didn't make sense, but it doesn't have to make sense. And then she, she married a bunch of guys who were interested in marrying a white girl. They were just like, oh my God, it's a white girl. It's a white revert. And all they were just thinking about is just marrying a white girl. And they weren't looking at the fact that this was a wife that needed to be taught Islam. And so they just wanted to get some white hoo-ha, and basically they didn't teach her nothing. And so for basically 10 years, she, I think she got married twice, and she just turned out to be a bad case, and nobody taught her anything. She wasn't raised well in Islam. And so, I mean, that's the only real experience I have other than my ex-wife. She turned out pretty good, alhamdulillah. But, I taught her myself. But even then, it's like she's kind of had whatever, Anyway, she's got her issues on her own. I don't want to get into like, throwing people under the bus, May Allah aid us all. May Allah guide us all. I don't know, man. I've been thinking about this a lot, and I've really been contemplating a lot. I mean, I'm a revert, and so I guess everybody should be given a fair chance, because I'd like to be given a fair chance. So inshallah, have husnul done to give the sisters a fair chance. And if they fail, then they fail. But I've heard a lot of horror stories. I've seen a lot of stories, Let's just take the Islamic stance here. Have husnul done for the Muslims, and teach her what she's supposed to be, inshallah. I've talked about this a lot. Who's Phillip? There was the show called The Black Phillip Show. And so I just said Ibn Phillip Show. Who is Ibn? Ibn, son of Philip. So I'm the son of Philip. My father's name is Philip. Do you think it's okay for a wife to keep pictures of her ex-husband? Do you think it's okay for a wife to keep pictures of her ex-husband?
Yeah. Ew.
I'd be kind of worried. She's still in love if she still got pictures. If there's no context to that picture, like maybe their kids are in the picture and the kids live with the father or something like that, I'd be like, That I'd wonder about that big time, bro. What advice would you give to a woman looking for a husband? What red flags should we look out for? I mean, it's unfortunate we live in times. So my wife was just saying, it's like everybody's looking for mistakes and not for goodness. You both have good points. You need to do vetting, unfortunately, in this time and age. It's always been the case that you need to do vetting. It's not just unfortunate. It's not just of our time. I mean, but okay. Red flags in men.
Oh, it's from a girl.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff, man. Okay, I'm looking for a husband for my daughter. God. Oh, it's been a nightmare. And I always look at these guys and I say to myself, can this guy take my position when all is said and done, if I die tomorrow, this guy's in charge. So for me, that means he needs to have a level of physicality, religious understanding and practice. He needs to have his money right, you know, and he needs to have like a particular degree of what you call it, like social / emotional acumen. So for me, these are my qualifiers and / disqualifiers. And obviously there is some playroom in these types of things, you know, but not significantly. I know this is kind of hard to answer your question because I just, as a guy, when you're looking at other guys, you got a general idea about guys because we know guys, you know, we're just like, who this sly, slick dude think he is? Money. In order to take care of a family, a guy's gonna have to have money. So is he a working man? Obviously, a guy shouldn't be showing up looking for you, you know, or talking to you or trying to approach you if he isn't prepared financially to get married. That should be a first red flag. If he's like coming to you, oh, let's get married, whatever else, and like, you know, it's like, okay, let's talk to my dad or whatever else, or he's not working, or, you know, his money isn't right, he's just playing games.
Oh, he's too nice.
Too nice.
Yeah, he's like, oh, yeah, like selling himself way too.
Well, I mean, everybody's gonna show their positive sides, though.
Yeah, but it's too much like what's going on behind that. You know? Doesn't stay forever.
Well, she's speaking from a female perspective. I'm speaking from a male perspective, so I'm kind of like, guys, you know, yeah. I mean, we tend to see through guys, so I don't know. That whole play extra nice stuff doesn't really work on us because we just like, what you doing? You know what I mean? What was I saying? I left money. What did I say? Money. Physicality is actually, surprisingly or not, physicality. I mean, you got a lot of guys show up like big bellies, you know, scrawny arms, this type of stuff. I want a guy who could protect my daughter, you know. I need a guy who could throw a punch, you know. And I want my daughter to be attracted to him also, you know. I don't want some like, you know, just sluffer showing up, you know, like, ooh, you know, oh, how you doing, jiggling everywhere, sweating out of like some crack out of his jaws, you know. So for me, that's another thing, because a guy who doesn't take care of his body, you know, how's he going to take care of my daughter? He can't take care of himself. How's he going to take care of his daughter? My daughter. And here's the thing. If he can't recognize there's something wrong with his physicality, then how's he going to recognize, you know, what needs to be taken care of for my daughter? You know? So look at a guy and how he takes care of himself physically, you know? If he can't take care of himself, he definitely not going to take care of you. And if he can take care of you, it's going to be like purely financial. And this is why I said there's leeway and other things and type of stuff. So, okay, in his mind, it's going to be like just purely financial and nothing else, you know, which to a degree is okay. And let me explain. Like, I don't do any housework around the house. I don't cook. I don't clean. I don't wash things. I don't change diapers. I don't do any of that stuff. I mean, I literally come home. I go to work. I come home and I do more work. I do this. I type my book. I edit my books, all this type of stuff. You know, I zone out sometimes, but I don't do anything around the house. I can literally, and I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. It's not disrespectful. I can take my socks off and just toss them on the floor. I don't do anything. And to me, that's fair enough. But when you have like a combination of a guy who doesn't take care of his body, you know what I'm saying, and like this type of stuff, then it becomes something different. Then it's more ominous, you know, because now it's like, it's just ominous. So what did we cover for money? We covered physicality, religious practice, and understanding. Obviously, he needs to be the leader of the house. So, you know, he has to be able to teach and lead, you know, he needs to be able to demonstrate and explicate. So those two things, obviously, those are at the head, obviously. Yeah. And just emotional and social acumen, because he needs to know how to deal with women, because women are not like men. He can't be like some equalist feminist. Oh yeah, men and women are the same type of mentality and behavior. Any guy who talks like that, that's a guy who is telling you what he thinks you want to hear, because most men don't think like this. And if he does think like this, well, then what good is he? What he's basically a woman with a penis. So to me, I'm looking for this in a guy. I want a guy who has a masculine frame, a masculine mentality and behavior, you know, to match my daughter's feminine frame and behavior, because she grew up in a house with me and I consider myself to be a masculine guy. And that's why my daughter tends to act very feminine. She doesn't act very masculine. My daughter doesn't act masculine at all. So now I want to match her up some guys coming along, you know, those limp, skinny wrists and arms, you know, oh yeah, I'll wash the dishes on Saturday and, you know, we're all the same. Oh, baby, I heard that bump downstairs. It's your turn to go downstairs. It's time to see if it's a robber. You know, so any guy who comes along with that whole feminist, you know, we're all the same type of mentality, I consider that to be a red flag. I never really put a lot of thought into this, sister, unfortunately. I wish I could help you better. I spent a lot of time on this, but, you know, the question actually kind of stumped me because it's not something I really thought about. It's just something I passively look for in partners when it comes down to the idea for my daughter. You know, I'm looking for a specific type of guy, and it tends to be that, you know, what my daughter's looking for and my disqualifiers, they tend to match, you know. So yeah, it's a good question, sister. It really is. I should probably focus on this a little bit more, but I don't really do a lot for sisters. So, you know, inshallah, I hope that helped. Wow, 19 times. I wish. You guys said I've been divorced 19 times. Well, I take his advice. I'm baffled. I've been divorced 19 times.
You wish?
Yeah, why not, man? They said the grandson of the messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, I think it was Hussein. They said he married and divorced so many times, we lost count. They said up almost 1,500 times he married and divorced in his lifetime. I'm on 19 all of a sudden. I ain't caught Hussein yet. They said he would over 1,400, 1,500 women.
Wow.
I'm slacking.
Well.
Omar, radiallahu anhu, what did he say? He says marry and divorce women readily and easily and quickly because they're numerous. So Umar, the companion of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, "Nigga, 19 times? Where'd the extra women come from? So you talking about or you trying to throw some my way? What's up, man? You want to throw some of them bad girls my way so that I can like divorce them? Don't take my advice. Who told you to take my advice? Cobra AMV. What an awesome name. What a dickhead. That's why this guy gets blocked. Block. Don't take my advice. I ain't asked you to.
Yeah, for you fancy for yourself.
You have to be specific about the laws. I mean, what do you mean by laws? Germany has a lot of laws. They're very bureaucratic people. So, you know, that should tell you everything you need to know. They love bureaucracy here. You know what? If I didn't learn from, like, you know, for my divorces, if I didn't learn anything, you know, I could understand what he's talking about. You know, I took lessons from it, you know, because one thing I didn't do when I got a divorce was like say, oh, it's the women. They did like this and they did like that. And the women were all bad. No, sometimes I just dropped the ball. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I literally dropped the ball. I could think of like 3 times where I actually just screwed up. It was my mistake, but I didn't know any better, you know, so it is what it is, you know. But what I did do is I said to myself, okay, the common denominator in all these divorces in me is me. And so then I said to myself, what's going on here? How is it that in some cases, being me got a positive reaction out of women, and sometimes being me got a negative reaction out of women? And then what I then ended up doing is I was compiling like an entire list of like behaviors where I was like, okay, these are the commonalities that got negative responses out of women. And I understood that certain behaviors always got a negative out of women. And then other ones, I was like, they were more mixed. You know, I was like, okay, sometimes I got positive, sometimes I got negative. Other ones, sometimes I only got positives out of it. I took lessons from it. And so now what did I do? Those negatives where I like, okay, I know that this is automatically going to like, you know, just get a negative from a woman because I've never seen it get a positive out of her. I expunge those from my behaviors because at the end of the day, I want to be married to women. I like women. I love women. I want to be with women. So I expunge those from my behaviors. And then those were the positives and the negatives. I knew that was personality. Then I figured out, okay, in some women it gets a positive, some women it gets a negative. Okay, this is a personality thing. Some women are reacting positively to this because of culture, you know, upbringing, this, that, the other, whatever else, mentality, or she just might like me. Other women get a negative out of it because of culture, society, this, that, the other, negatives, positives. Those were personality traits. And so there's nothing you can do to control that. You just have to know the person. And then those things which are all positives, and I always got a positive response out of women, I just constantly kept on pushing those things. Now you got guys out here, they're going to get married and divorced, and they're never going to figure out what happened. They're never going to know. They got zero experience with it, and they still suck to this day. And I know some of those guys, you know, and I feel sorry for them, you know. So yeah. My man Phoenix Knight with the $5 super chat. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, akhi? Alhamdulillah, I am always good. Al-hum mubarak feek, you know, even on my bad days, they're good. because I got first world problems. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair for asking. Hopefully you're well also. Realistically, if potentially marrying an older second, third, or fourth wife for pleasure, how much older is sensible? Oh, Allahu alam, bro. I don't know. I suppose not past menopause, if that's going to be your intention. And before anybody gets mad, marrying a woman for pleasure is considered to be an acceptable reason to marry a woman. It is not impermissible. You can find it here on YouTube. Some of the ulama of Ahlus Sunnah have stated that marrying women for pleasure is permissible. Even if we don't like the sound of it, or I don't say we don't. I don't. I'm just saying we just understand that it is permissible reason and permissible grounds, even if people don't like to hear that. But in terms of like ages or whatever else, I guess as long as she's physically capable, of doing it, I would say before menopause. Allahu alam. I don't know. I've never actually used that reasoning myself to marry, but I would just say reasonably early to mid 30s, maybe. But generally, I'm guessing here. Because generally, I don't go above like mid 30s in terms of like considering women for marriage anyway, personally. And I'm 48. So, I married you when you like years ago. Shush. She's gonna me crazy because like she's like mid 30s now. She's like, I married you like years ago.
Yeah. How many years?
Like 5.
Hey, how old I was?
You're like 31. 30. Something like that.
I'm just testing you. I don't care. Too.
Yeah, me either. I don't know. I don't care. You still here, right? Mm-mm. Okay, then I like you. Okay, see? Apparently married and divorced 19 women. I don't know where these extra ones come from. You'd be number 20 then, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know where these extra women came from. I ain't divorced no 19 women. Yeah, but there ain't no 19.
19, yeah?
Yeah, 19. I don't know where you got that number from. No, yeah, she's so the sister said she's not looking for mistakes at all, but most men just aren't serious. This is true. A lot of guys aren't serious. I wouldn't say most. I'd contend with that point right there. I wouldn't say most men aren't serious. Yeah. Well, maybe the men you meet aren't. I don't know. The men I meet and men I know, they are serious. Let's say that.
If that man doesn't go to your wali immediately, like for a few months after they know you, it's like wait them.
Few months? Did I wait a few months?
No. No.
Uh-huh.
We talked for 3 months and then.
Did we talk for 3 months?
Yeah. But that's all. Marriage and then we met.
Okay, yeah, I talked to my wife for 3 months, but you were in Indonesia, and I didn't talk to you regularly, did I?
Niggas.
Did I?
Oh, yeah, I give you a spicy food, yeah.
I don't remember. Anyway, okay, so apparently I talked to her. But anyway, yeah, he should want to talk to your wali, like
How about you talk with my dad just after 1 month or something?
Yeah, I talked to her dad pretty quickly. We basically had an agreement early on. We were engaged, although this doesn't exist in Islam. Yeah, he should want to talk to your wali. Yeah, and you're right. It is better to be safe than sorry. I've done it before, but it's all behind a paywall. We might do it again in the future, but it's just, it's a lot of drama that comes with that again. It's like, like the last guy, I've been married and divorced 19 times. Like, you get weirdos like that. And then, you got your wives online and whatnot, and these weirdos start showing up. It's not, contrary to popular belief, I'm not very loose or flexible with my women, despite what these weirdos think, So it's just kind of like, maybe in the future, inshallah. We'll see. Inshallah. We'll think about it. Okay, Christopher, fine. See you, buddy. Bye, homie.
No.
Yep. What you here for?
What is that saying?
He said, divorced 19 times, something with your pseudoscience. I'll pass on your pseudoscience. Do you think women actually want to hear that we're all the same, like you said? Yeah, I think guys think women want to hear that. Guys say stupid stuff. Like, listen, tell me that guys don't say stupid stuff like, oh, no, I don't want another wife. I don't want a second wife. He's saying that because he thinks that's what she wants to hear. And she probably does want to hear that. But most men And most healthy men want multiple wives. Most men with normal testosterone levels, with messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, wanted multiple wives, but somehow you, with your halo and harp and your wings, you're better than him and his Sahaba. Yeah, you don't want any, huh? You don't want multiple wives. So guys just say all sorts of goofy stuff to try and charm women, and make them think they got all sorts of charm. It's just, yeah, it's pretty regular. What is the Salam app? What's the Salam app? No. That's not what he meant. He literally said, women are plentiful, so marry and divorce them. He said, marry and divorce women because they are plentiful. I literally have it saved on my phone with the narration, the source, and everything. It's not, what's the word? It's not ambiguous. It's pretty clear. Yes. The Sahaba had no shame in divorce. The Sahabiyat, the women, the female Sahabas, were not shamed for divorce. But all of a sudden, Muslims, they think there's some sort of shame in it, and people who are better than them married and divorced for no reason other than they wanted to. Like the woman who said, who wanted a divorce from her husband and said, I just have no need for him anymore. I just don't want to be married to my husband anymore. Did anybody shame her for it? No. Messenger of Allah released her. He said, your husband gave you a garden, I think it was. And so we returned it to him. She said, yes. Khalas. That was the end of that. But, Muslims today, they're more righteous than the Sahaba. So, excuse me. How do you be direct / straightforward with a potential spouse, but at the same time come off as a gentleman? Women usually process things differently. I always tell guys speak in absolutes. I mean, I speak in a way that's absolutes, but I'm not, it's not being rude about it, meaning there's no leeway in what's being said, but then at the same time, it's not being rude. Like, let me give an example. Like, hey, babe, bring me a cup of tea. It's an absolute. Bring me a cup of tea. I'm not asking, but then I'm not being rude either. Hey, babe. You know what I mean? So speaking in absolutes, that's just, I find that works very well. I've never found this to not work in a positive way on women. Not once. What's the best way to test sister meeting? Dude, that's like, I wrote like my vetting guide's like over 100 pages. I mean, that'd take too long to answer here. That's going to be in part 2 anyway, inshallah. Brother, I struggle with porn addiction. What can I do to stop this poison? Multiple questions. Are you married or are you single? If you're married, oh man, bro, I would say first off, try and get some professional help. If you actually think you're an addict and you don't think you can break the habit, then I'd say try and get some professional help. But if it's just like, it's just tough, then just hammer through it, man, and just get it over with, and like in terms of like just walking away from something like smoking or whatever else. But if it's an addiction, it's an actual, something that you cannot give up, I would say get professional help. I'm not qualified to speak on that in terms of like how to end an actual addiction, No, that's why I asked if he's married or not. But yeah, I'd say get some professional help with that if it's an actual addiction that you're struggling with that you can't actually quit. I'd say because I'm not qualified to answer that one, unfortunately, bro. I mean, yeah, that's a tough one. No, it's not. It's completely unambiguous. Hold on 1 second. I'll read it to you since people don't want to hear. You guys should give up. There's not a single time that I haven't brought like all this stuff, and I haven't like just completely destroyed everybody. So yeah, I guess we could do it again. No problem. 1 second. Let me find it. I got so many notes here saved. Shoot, where is it? Oh, now I can't find it. Awesome. Well, that sucks.
What happened?
The statement from Omar. I saved it as a note on my phone because it just keeps coming back up. Maybe. Is it on my other phone? I got so many phones now. It might have been on my phone that's damaged, actually, once I think about it. Give me a second. Sorry. It wasn't Omar. It was Ali. My mistake. That's why we're getting confused here. Ishaq, 734. As for Ali, he said, women are plentiful, and you can easily change one for another, a.k.a. divorce them. So it can be found in Ishaq, 734, and it was a statement of Ali, not Omar. My mistake. So maybe this is where we're getting confused. I apologize. My mistake. I've been trying to stop a lie, but nothing seems to work. Bro, if you've tried everything, then you're going to have to go to therapy, bro. You're going to have to try and find a professional and get professional help, because addiction is real, and may Allah make it easy for you and everyone else who's struggling with this. Try and get some professional help with that, bro. I'm not qualified to speak on that one. And for me, personally, anything that I find myself addicted to, I despise. Because anything you become addicted to, like for me at one point it was sugary drinks, it was this, that, the other, it was what was it? What's that thing called? It's this drink they got here, and it's really sweet. It tastes good. Yeah, coffee. Coffee is also one thing. I just despise it because it has power over you.
Malt drink?
Yeah, malt. Yeah. The alcohol-free malt drink they got here, man, that thing is fire. Yeah, woo, man, that's good. I'd love to have that ice cold one on a day like today. Anything that controls you, it has absolute power over you. It can be used against you. So I hate addictions of any sort, and so I struggle and fight against them. That feeling that I have in my chest that it controls me and has power over me is more powerful than the addiction itself. And so for me, I have my own internal methods to deal with that. But yeah. Can you give examples of the positive and negatives which you reinforce to remove from your behavior? Yeah, like supplicating behavior. That was a negative. It never worked out. A lot of guys think that works. That supplicating behavior towards women, it actually doesn't work. It's like it always turned into a negative. It may seem like a temporary positive, but long term, it always goes to a negative. Removed it immediately. Speaking in absolutes is a positive. I've never had that not turn out bad for me. Those two examples. I answered you on that one already, bro. Sorry. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What do you do if your ex stops you from seeing your daughters? You make dua. The dua of the oppressed is accepted. That may not be the answer you want to hear. That's the answer I got for you, man. Allah accepts the dua of the oppressed. And in this regard, she's oppressing you, make dua to Allah. You really don't have much else. If she's in the West, then she has so much power with the legal system that you have nothing but your dua, which is more powerful than the legal system. So use it. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm not sure the context of some of these statements here. Hey, alhamdulillah, mashallah, thanks for the answer. If a man is in his early 30s and finds an attractive practicing sister in her 40s, should he avoid it simply based on proximity to menopause? Bro, these are subjective questions, so it's really hard to answer them. I mean, if you like the sister, you find her, attractive physically and in her personality, her religion, all that stuff, bro, just go for it, man. These are the type of stuff that I don't really put too much afterthought into. You know what I mean? If that vibe is right, then it's going to be right. And then the physical is going to be right also. You know what I mean? And we know that women stay active late into their lives, not just in their 40s, into their 50s and 60s. This happens. So, I think you're overthinking the situation. This is more subjective than it is an actual, should I critically, science this up? I think this is more subjective. And so I think you should actually just see it as such. If the sister meets your preferences in all ways, khalas, man, go for it, bro. You know what I'm saying? She likes you in the same way. She's going to do what it takes to keep you happy. She's going to, listen, let me repeat that. If she likes you in the same way you like her, she's going to do what it takes to keep you happy. I don't really think you need to, go further into it than that, inshallah. I answered this before. Yes, I do. I answered this in yesterday's show, actually. Yes, it is possible for one man to love multiple women. Absolutely. I've seen it more than one time, more than just myself. A woman shouldn't question as to whether or not her husband loves her just because he wants another wife. He absolutely can love her and love another woman, because men, and this goes back to what I was saying about men and women and guys, talking about this equalist type of behavior. This is a red flag that women should look out for. Men and women don't love the same. We don't love the same. We're the same. We're not even the same biologically in that sense, other than we need food and water in the same sense. But after that, there's so many differences between men and women. It's obvious that we're going to have social expressions of how we love and how we behave towards one another in different ways. Also, men absolutely can love multiple women. That might be hard to accept. It might not be the answer you want to hear, but you can't externally project your ideas as a woman onto a man to where it's like you have a deep, intense love for one individual, and then expect the man to love you in the same way. He'll love you deeply and intensely, but he can also love another woman deeply and intensely, because we're different. In person, obviously, everything's better in person, but just try and do it in the correct way, inshallah. He says, where are these questions coming from? Basil 845, they're coming from YouTube. You can't see them because you're coming on from Twitch. Just like these guys, unless I let the questions pop up on the screen, they won't be able to see that your question's coming from Twitch. I don't. Can you guys see that this is a Twitch question? So generally the questions are coming from YouTube. Some of them from Instagram. But yeah, mostly they're coming from YouTube. I'll answer questions from Twitch. I don't care where they come from. If I see them on my screen while I'm scrolling down here, then I'm going to answer them, inshallah, until it gets too long. I mean, I've been on for an hour and 30 minutes. I usually don't go for an hour, but I'm not online a lot like I used to be lately, because I'm doing like a bunch of projects and a bunch of work. And so, I'm trying to spend more time with my people. So it's just, I'm giving you guys more time on these few shows that I'm doing in a week. Inshallah. Make a vetting guide for women, please. That might be tough. It's kind of hard because I'm not a woman. I have no objective experience. I'd have to listen, here's the thing, S. Would women buy it? You know what I'm saying? Would women buy it? I've sold hundreds of copies of the vetting guide for men. Hundreds upon hundreds of copies. It still sells to this day. Men buy it. It's $95 US, $97 US. Would women buy a vetting guide for men? Would they buy it? I doubt it, because, and I don't mean this in an insulting or condescending way, but generally most women aren't open to taking advice on relationships from men. They're just not open to it. And so it's like, I don't see that there's a market or customer base for it. You know what I mean? I put a lot of work into it because these things take months. I think this is the fastest book I've written ever. No, maybe the Mad Monkey was faster.
I think so. It's the good elder.
Yeah. And in general, this is why you have a Wali anyway. Wali is gonna he's gonna be a really, really good, resource in vetting guys anyway. Because it just kind of comes natural. But I just, unless you don't have a Wali, and even then, this goes back to what I was saying. It's like, I don't think there's going to be, for all the effort and the work that it takes to write a vetting guide, what it just took on this first one for me, for women, it would hurt to spend all that time on it, and and then nobody purchases it. And it's not about the money, it's just about the effort. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. My wife will tell you I spent a lot of time on that thing. And so you want to make sure there's a market for it. And so there was a market for my guide for men, and that's why so many copies have sold, and that's why it continues to sell. But for women, I don't know, as much as I've spoken to women, they're not interested really.
But she needs to know that all men wants that hoo-ha no matter what you are.
Well, yeah.
So that's
a generality, yeah.
That's a general idea. She needs to understand that men goes for that. Being nice, being kind.
I don't know, bro. I got a lot on my plate right now. And the thing is, like, part 2 is going to be more of like a course. It's going to be more like a we're gonna do enrollments and whatnot. We're gonna actually do this live. There's gonna be videos. There's gonna be like Zooms and whatnot. So it's gonna be more like a class as opposed to an actual book. The second one, there will be a book to go with it, but it's gonna be a class done in like sections throughout the year. So it's taking a long time to complete. As to where or when it's gonna be done, Allahu Alam. Shukran. Barakallahu feek. Why do I see some of these questions like 2 or 3 times? Yes and no. If you go into the cities, you can find it. But just in general, actually it's becoming more and widespread. You can go into like the regular shopping centers now and you can find halal meats in there. Like the sandwich meats and whatnot, you can find it. It's becoming, if you go into like a big city, like Dusseldorf, you'll find it in all the stores. In the quote unquote kafir stores, you'll find like halal meats like packaged and everything. In certain stores they sell it, because a lot of Germans figured out that the numbers don't lie, that the largest and the fastest growing market in Europe is the halal market, and so they've started to cash in on it. But if you're like out in the countryside, I'm in the armpit of Germany, dude, in the proper understanding of the Aqidah, good luck. Yeah, there you go, right there. It depends on where you are in Germany. I'm in the armpit of Germany. You're not going to find it out here. So, yeah. You definitely, need to find some sort of cathartic. Sorry, Brotherhood Grind is saying, some advice I would give for quitting pornography addiction is to place dopamine high with some more natural, such as sport, MMA, or other hobbies. Definitely you want to, have some sort of cathartic type of, replacement for that. So, inshallah. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to the brother who just gave salams there. What's my thought on men crying? When you're a human being, you cry, you just don't do it around your woman. That's what you got bros for. Hug it out with the bros, 1 second, get my back scratched. Thanks, baby. That's the spot right there. Ooh, mashallah, that was good. Whew, thank you, baby. I was trying to reach that scratch with the pen. Men cry. Super chat here. But I think you should do it, away from your woman, in my humble opinion. Phoenix Knight again with a super chat, $20 super chat. Barakallahu feek. Akhi, what do you think about going to a Salafi masjid, asking the imam if there's any sisters available for marriage? My first marriage was found traditionally via female relative network, but they don't support polygyny. It's a good idea. Maktaba Salafiyah on Wright Street in Birmingham, United Kingdom. They have like a whatchamacallit? They have a service. I think it's like £50 or something. You put your name in there, you just tell them what you're looking for. And they'll match you up with, like, inshallah, sisters who are upon the dawah that are looking for similar or willing to accept whatever situation, monogamous, polygynous, whatever else, because, how it is with the Muslims, ethnicity and all this type of stuff, it's a big deal for them. So they'll match you up accordingly. I think it's a good idea. When I got married in London, that's how I did it. I went to a masjid. I went to a bunch of masjids and I just put my name down. I was like, I'm trying to get married. This is what I'm looking for. And then I went to one masjid. I won't say which one, but I went to a masjid and I was like, I'm looking for a sister. And the dude was like, you looking for a sister? I was like, yeah. Who are you? And he didn't care who I was. And I got married. And I got married like, I think it was like 3 weeks later. So yeah, it's a good idea. I would say do it. I prefer networks like that as opposed to like matrimonial apps and whatnot. I loathe them. I use matrimonial apps, but I absolutely loathe them. Oh God, they make me sick. I use them, but they make me sick. Oh God, I hate matrimonial apps, man. I really despise those things. So use your social networks. Obviously you said your family doesn't support polygyny, so then that leaves you to dismiss your mission on your own. But they should actually support you, in my humble estimation, because they, what if you get a bad sister? You know what I mean? They could mitigate that by finding you somebody good. Inshallah. So they can help you by finding somebody good, so they should actually be more involved and more invested in trying to help you get married to another wife, as opposed to like, leaving you on your own. Inshallah. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tell her she's going to be a stay-at-home wife. He says, so what's the best way to vet if a sister has feminist tendencies? Just tell her she's going to be a stay-at-home wife. give her traditional Islam and watch how she reacts. Tell her she's going to have to cover when she goes outside, no unnecessary travel without a mahram, No free mixing, no male friends. Just give her the basics of Islam and watch how she reacts. Them feminist sisters, they always crack and split when you start dropping Islam on them. Because at the end of the day, whether they like it or not, it's a simple, true fact that Islam is a patriarchal religion. It is a patriarchal religion. And them feminists don't like that. So just drop basic Islam on them, Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How should a man treat his wife who does not want to pray? You have to look at the statements of the ulama. The statements of the ulama hold that the people who do not pray, generally, they are ruled with the ruling of disbelief. They have left the fold of Islam. This is the vast majority of the scholars. This is not a minority opinion. So now you have to, look at the rulings of many of the scholars. Many of the scholars say this is a reason for divorce for both the man and the woman. That this is the grounds for separation. So maybe not want to be, what you want to hear, but you need to start looking at this. Inshallah. I'll make it easy on us all. I mean, best advice for acquiring abundance mentality. Yeah, abundance, like non-scarcity. Just build your value. It's like a simple but not so simple answer. No. I'm trying to think of how to answer this properly. I have an abundance mentality. I can only speak from personally. I have abundance mentality because I always have like an abundance. I can go someplace and I can see that women are interested in me. I'm the flavor of the week in Germany. If you're a black guy, and you come to Germany, you're the flavor of the week here. Whether you, you're exotic, you're different. People like you stay fit and whatever else. Women are just going to be interested in you. And so I see this and I know this. I'm not an ugly guy, alhamdulillah, despite being 48. I'm in good shape. I'm better shape than guys half my age. I take care of myself and whatnot, And so, yeah, it should be natural, I suppose, as opposed to like an actual programmed system of thought. I don't know if that helped or answered your question. I apologize if not. I would hope so. Are women supposed to think their husbands are the most attractive? I would hope they do.
Yes.
In she said, my wife says yes.
If she doesn't think about, if he even doesn't that attractive, she needs to not pretend, but build that feeling, and then it's become habits, become real attractive. You see what I mean?
She's woman talk, so I guess.
Can you translate that?
No. It's a woman talk. I don't get it. I would hope that a woman thinks her husband is most attractive in the same way that I would hope a man thinks his wife is the most attractive. There's a world full of attractive women out there, but I don't think they're better than my wife. I don't think so.
She needs to stop looking at other men.
Yeah, just stop looking at other men.
Just stop comparing. Stop TV, even TV advertising, whatever movie screen. Just no. Advertising. I only saw the product. I didn't see the man.
Yeah. I don't consider a woman more attractive than my wife. I think my wife is beautiful. I think, Shut up. Eat your spicy food. I don't want your spicy food. Give it to the moths flying around here. What was I saying? Attractive, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, because you're just going to set yourself up for a world of dissatisfaction. And maybe this is the beauty of Islam and women covering up and the men. Not maybe. This is definitely the beauty of Islam in terms of the women covering up and the men lowering their gaze. And women should lower their gaze also. But it's like a combined effort from all parties. There's no reason for you to think that there's anybody more attractive than your partner out there. So, yeah, I think she should. Just like I should think a man should think his wife is the most attractive woman. Do you cry in your dua? Yes, absolutely. But what's that? That's like disconnected from what we were talking about earlier. What advice can you give a guy who's afraid to divorce? Because he's afraid she will take his son and her family will not raise him under good guidance. Try and get yourself a situation where you can, cut and run with your son. What else are you gonna do, man? There's not much you can do. If he can find a way to cut and run with his son, I'd hate to. I don't like advising that, actually, because in a legal sense, you could technically be like considered kidnapping. Try and get legal custody of the son. If it's really a bad situation, then try and get legal custody of the son. It's tough stuff, man. I don't know what to say to that one, bro. Man, I'll make it easy on him. Try and get legal custody of the son if they're actually like bad influences. Otherwise, yeah, he's stuck. He's got to make it work. Yeah, they're fine by it. My kids are fine by it. My daughter comes by sometimes when like the ladies are here, because like I said, we have several places, but sometimes they stay here. It's fine. It's normal. It's not like seen as something odd, or something weird. It's literally not even seen as awkward. It's just like, oh, hey, so and so's here. Hey, how you doing? Everybody's happy, hug, smile, what's up? Let's hang out. Let's watch TV. Let's talk. Whatever else. We watch TV. I watch Gin and Ghost videos. That's TV for us. But, just whatever. Sit around, chat, whatever else. It's pretty common. It's pretty normal. My sons, it's the same thing. They just sort of sit around. We just talk. Whatever else. Talk about like crypto, this, that, the other, whatever else. It's not like seen as something odd. It's no problem at all. Barakallah. I'm 48, bro. What if a sister doesn't have a wali? She needs to find one. You need one to get married anyway, so you need to find one. So yeah, sisters need to you need a wali to get married anyway, so you're gonna need to find one anyway, no matter what. So I would say make that a priority also. And then I talked about this a couple of shows ago. Try and find you a wali that's not like not personally invested in the sense that he's interested in you himself, because this is a big issue also. You'll find that walis that are not mahram to the woman will have a personal interest in the woman himself, and so then now trying to find her a husband becomes an issue where it's like no man that shows up are good enough, because he has in his mind he wants to be that man, but he's too much of a coward to actually say he's interested in himself. Yeah. Brother Ozone, what's good, man? Welcome. I lived in Qatar. I lived in Saudi Arabia. I did a short time in UAE. But I've been to a lot of Muslim countries. I actually lived in Jordan also. I lived in Jordan for a short time also. Why, yeah, I'm glad I could be assistance, bro. Yeah, I covered that one already. Why am I so anti-feminist? I'm a feminist, but I actually enjoy watching your videos and agree with a lot of things you say, because feminism hasn't proven to be like a positive in any way, shape, or form. I've come to find that like feminism, it opposes the natural state and condition of women, the fitra. It opposes the natural state. It opposes the natural condition of women. Feminism pits women against men in a more competitive and like, anti-man type of behavior. Everyone talks about like, oh, it's all about equality of rights or whatever else and all this stuff. But what rights do women not have that men have? In the 21st century, so it's like really feminism has become kind of like pointless and useless, and we've seen it turn from like rights, which I don't think it was ever about, into like this, like, anti-man, pro-fem, what's the word I'm looking for here? Feminist or feminine supremacy movement. I actually consider it to be a hate movement now at this point. Really, when we look at the way that feminists talk about men and the way they behave towards men, it's a hate movement. I put them right there with KKK and ISIS. I really do. I 100%. You can mark Abuamerican's words here on this show. I see feminism on the same level that I see the Ku Klux Klan and ISIS. They're the same.
Say that on YouTube.
I just said it. They're Nazis. I don't agree that Islam is patriarchal since women have so many rights. Yeah, women have rights. Obviously, women have a lot of rights in Islam. That's not to deny their rights. But at the end of the day, when we read the Quran and we read the Sunnah, women have to obey their husbands in everything that is halal. It doesn't matter what it is. Okay, we don't want to get stupid with it. for all the stupid people who are watching the show. I'm not talking about stupid stuff. But if a woman's husband commands her with something that's permissible, then it's her obligation. It's her obligation to follow and obey her husband. Now, obviously, he's talking about you stand on one quarter, jump around in a circle in the corner. Let's have some reasonable here, because this is what the stupid people are coming with. Well, American said your wife has to jump out the window because it's permissible. Let's not go there. I'm just talking about within reason. Let's not be stupid. But if it's permissible and it's it's a reasonable command that she can carry out, then it's her duty. It's her obligation to obey her husband. That's patriarchal. That's patriarchal. So,
like the mother of her wife that she went to China because she raised her daughter to obey her husband.
Yeah.
And then when she passed away, she can't visit. Do you know the story?
No, I don't know this. I got a $5 super chat here from Phoenix Knight. Phoenix Knight, man, mashallah, barakallahu feek, homie. You be looking out for the channel. I've heard mixed opinions on avoiding Western Ahlul Kitab sisters for nikah, but they tend to accept cheaper mahr. Should it be totally avoided? Well, when you're looking at Ahlul Kitab, when you're looking at the women and the people of the book, there are conditions. So what your primary concern should be is, do they meet the Islamic conditions for marriage to you as a Muslim man? This is the primary starting point for you. If she meets the conditions, then khalas, man, then do as you wish, because it is an option. It is a permissible option for you. But then you got sisters out here like the sister S, she's looking to get married. So, I think it would be preferred to actually look at our sisters first. I mean, I'm almost ready to give up on sisters. I'm not going to lie, only because it's where I'm at, there's not that many sisters, and so it's out here. But now trying to find what do you call it? A suitable woman of Ahlul Kitab. Oh, Allahu Akbar. That's tough, I mean, that's real tough. So,
white girl days.
yeah. So it's really tough to find a woman that's suitable, But if you can find one that's suitable, inshallah, according to the book and the sunnah, she meets the requirements, khalas, man. Then it's a permissibility that's been allowed to you, and it shouldn't be a question or a doubt or whatnot, I'm not a big fan of the big mahr things. If you read the hadith and you read statements of the Sahaba, these huge mahr stuff, 30K, 50K, all this type of stuff that these sisters should be asking for, that's insane, bro. Then in that particular regard, if I can find someone from Ahlul Kitab, that meets the conditions of Islam to marry, I'd take that over paying a sister 30K any day. Because I'm not paying 30K. I'm not doing it. It's just insanity. You really going to charge more than the daughter of the Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him? You better than her? You going to get a higher mahr than her? Really? Okay. MashaAllah. Find it weird. That whole thing. Let me see where I was before. A lot of questions, man. Coming up on 2 hours here. I would agree with this right here. It's a benevolent patriarchy. It's benevolent, because obviously a man and a woman in Islam are supposed to have like Allah says, we're tranquility for one another, we're covering for one another, we're good to one another. So why wouldn't you be good to your wife? You know what I'm saying? So when a man commands his wife, and he's ordering her, obviously it's not supposed to be him commanding her with something that's supposed to be harmful. And generally this is not the case anyway. Where do we see that this is an accepted thing, where man's are generally accepted? It's accepted that a man is harmful towards his wife. This is another thing that feminism brings about. This idea that men always want to harm and exploit women, and generally you find that this is not the case, that men have built entire nations and they've destroyed entire nations for the purpose of protecting their women and their children. They literally built entire societies to protect their women, and they destroyed societies for threatening their women. It's literally historical fact. Men have gone to war over women and the love of women. So now all of a sudden we're these horrible bad guys, and this, that, and now horrible things have happened to women in all of this. But at the end of the day, yeah, there you go. Where does one even find a Wali randomly? It's like a Pokemon sister. You find a Wali is like finding a wild Pokemon. Masjid sister, inshallah. Go to your local community, inshallah, and hopefully you find one. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Does a Muslim feminist make sense? Not to me. Every Muslim feminist that I've spoken to in detail, they're always ending up with some sort of dilemma that makes them like make a statement of kufr or disbelief. Yeah, I've never not come across it. You know, it's you know, that guy. I don't really talk to him. I don't follow him either, but I think his name is Daniel Hakakatu. I can't say his name to save my life. He got all Q's in his names. Hakakatu or whatever his name is. That guy Daniel, he's famous. You know, he made a famous statement, or what I like to think is a famous statement. He says, you know, feminism is the gateway drug to disbelief, and I've never seen it to not be true. That's actually a very, very true statement from what I've seen. I agree that Western feminism opposes women's fitra, but Muslim feminism, black feminists are different. She says, don't compare to ISIS and KKK. Well, you know, I did a special on that sister Amina Wadud, whatever else, you know, when you talk about black feminists, and you know, it was during Ramadan, and they started a series in Ramadan called Fitna. No, that's the name of the group, Fitna. Oh, sister, my head hurts just thinking about that freaking tweet chain. Oh, Allahu Akbar. And they did it during Ramadan. And me, the dummy, I just read that crap in Ramadan. Allahu Akbar. Yeah, Allah, excuse me. Just gonna throw this pen just thinking about that. God, it makes me sick to my stomach. They're black feminists, sister. And Allahu Akbar. Let me just relax here. Yeah. Muslima says, feminism makes no sense to me. So many women have their own definition of what it means. It usually, I guess, means to them. I think Muslim women are oppressed. Their stay-at-home moms should liberate themselves. Yeah, well,
Yeah, oppressed.
That's another problem with, like, you know, with feminism. There's so many definitions. You know, that there's so many definitions is the problem also. I talk about this in my vetting guide. Why would a woman nowadays prioritize career over marriage and vetting and having kids? I talk about this in my vetting guide. What is your job and side hustles? I talk about my job on Twitter. You can look it up there. Side hustles, I talk about it on Twitter. You can look it up there too. Crypto. I'm in crypto. I'm a crypto miner. You know? Why would you not pay $30K? It's not even that much. What am I doing? What am I buying here for $30K? You know what I can get for $30K?
$30K?
That's a lot of happiness and no stress. What the heck is that thing?
No stress.
What is that?
What?
On the wall.
Where?
Kill it.
Nowhere.
Right there on the wall, going down by the paper shredder. Kill it. Here, you need a weapon? Good job. Did you get him? Oh, man. Supposed to kill him, not the shredder. Anyway, yeah, I wouldn't pay that much. It's too much money, sister. The Sahabiyat never even thought to charge that much money, and now we're like going to charge more than them, like we're better than them or something now. No. I mean, so I think someone said, like, you know, anyone who pays more than the daughter of the Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, received for, you know, a mahar is a fool or something like this, something crazy, not crazy, excuse me, some statement like this. You know, $30K is a lot of money, and for what? You know, to marry somebody who wants to be married. How does it make sense to me? What am I paying $30,000 for? Am I buying something? Am I buying property now? Because now if I'm buying property, okay, we need to discuss how this wedding and how this marriage is actually going to be lined up, type of thing. What happened? Kill him. What is it? You need some help over there. You need a bigger weapon?
Yeah.
There's a bigger weapon. Send her to work, see? Am I buying something? You know what I'm saying? Excuse me, she's like fighting a bug over here. I'm not sure who's winning, actually. I'm enjoying the show, though.
It's gone.
It's gone? It got away? All that noise and it got away. You like made all that noise on a live show to let it get away. You didn't even kill it.
You're supposed to protect me from that.
That's what I'll get the robbers. You can get the bugs. Let someone break in.
That's considered.
I got machetes. I got korakis and all that stuff. Crossbows. I'll hack him to pieces and throw his body over the balcony. You can't kill the bug? Hey, there's a chain of command here.
It's too hot. I can't think.
It's too hot.
Yeah.
So if a robber breaks in, I can say it's too hot. Ah, baby, it's too hot. You know what? I'm just gonna let him take all his stuff. You know, he might drag you out too, but baby, you know what? When winter comes, I'll come looking for you. But then it might be too cold.
I don't have duties.
I was just playing with you. Well, that's too bad. I guess I got to pull all the furniture out of the way and look for him. I don't know what the heck it was. He got to die. 30. Okay, it's not that much, but I ain't paying it. 30,000. I could buy me a nice car for that. You know what I'm saying? What am I paying 30,000 for? You know, if you want to get married and I want to get married, why 30,000? 30,000 says to me, you don't want to marry me. It's just you'll marry me if you pay that much money. That's what it says to me. It says to me, it's like, you know, say, yeah, I married that sister for $1 million. That's what I hear when you say 30,000. So now I'm like, oh, this sister ain't trying to get married. She don't like me like that. She just like, you know, she's putting up this like, you know, this whole obstacle thing. So yeah. Exactly. Phoenix says it right here. Big Maher does not give you extra love and respect with a woman. It's all BS. And you know what? I met this guy in Qatar. Just go back to this. I met this guy in Qatar. He was a student of mine, you know, and I was teaching a class. And he's like, how much did you pay, you know, for your maher? I said, I think I paid like, you know, maybe like, you know, 500 euros. He was like, 500 euros? How much was the wedding? I said, everything was like 1,500. I said, everything getting married, all this stuff was like 1,500 euros. This is my phone cost 1,500 euros. And that guy, he says, I paid $250,000 for my marriage. So I met that student a year later. Guess who was divorced a year later and who wasn't? He was $250,000 in the hole. I was $1,500 in the hole, and I was still married. I was married to that woman for 26 years at $1,500 maher. He was divorced in a year at $250,000.
Yes, I'm saying the larger the wedding, the faster the divorce.
I'm good, man. I'm good on that 30,000. I'm gonna keep my 30,000 because I don't know what you're going to be doing, acting all crazy from one year to the next. Because I've seen too many women lose their mind and disappear on a cat in like 6 months. I'm good. Yeah, I told you it got too many Q's in his name. Look at it. How many Q's is that, bro? It's 2 Q's. It's not that bad, but still, they're in like a funky place. That brother. Phoenix Night. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to make tech fear on them, but you know, they make some strange statements. They're definitely statements of disbelief. Do you think Europe is a bad place for Muslims? Yeah, I'm not trying to stay here, man. Europe is a horrible place for Muslims. You got especially Germany, like nude. All the beaches are nude beaches. You know what I'm saying? Alcohol, everything on sale. You know how many Syrians are here? I was literally in a store today, and the Syrian guy was like in line, and he was buying beer. No, that was yesterday. Is this what you came to Germany for? I thought you was escaping war to get to beer. You know? And I've seen a lot of these guys stumbling around here, high, drunk. We had a guy in the capital of Saarland, Saarbrücken. He attacked the police station with a shovel. He was a Syrian guy on drugs. It's a horrible place. It's a horrible place to be. How can you claim to love your wives but not be willing to give 30K maher? Is love attached to money? So, wait, can money buy you love? So, wait, what? How? Give me the connection between money and love. Explain it to me, because I don't understand it. Sister, explain that one to me. I don't understand the connection between money and love.
It's like kids. You just spoil kids to just see what's happening with money.
There you go. That's a good one right there. Feminism is an ideology derived from a godless liberal worldview, which, although that's the wrong kind of witch, that's a witch that does magic, is fundamentally with a U, opposed to the Islamic worldview. I would agree with that. Why do you think women have a tendency to want men who aren't good for them and reject good guys? You know, agreeability is a female attribute, and good guys have agreeability. What woman wants to be married to another woman? I mean, unless she's, one of the rainbow people, the alphabet people. Generally, women like masculine men. Masculine men who are disagreeable, or men who are disagreeable, are seen as more masculine. And it generally is a more masculine attribute. And so what happens is women see that disagreeableness as masculine and thus more attractive, and that agreeableness as more feminine and thus less attractive, in the same way that it works with men conversely. Disagreeable women are seen as masculine and thus unattractive, and agreeable women are seen as more feminine and therefore more attractive. That's my humble estimation on why.
Because they're badass.
That's what it sounds like right there. Mystery. I called you that last time too. I see it as if some sisters are entering into marriages with the mindset that it won't last, so they're asking for these ridiculous mahar prices as a safety net. I'd agree with you on that one, man. It just, to me, it's an alarm bell. It's in my vetting guide, actually. When women start asking for like huge mahars, it's in my vetting guide. That's a red flag. Definitely, I wouldn't go into it. Yeah. He said 30K, I expect the sister to be covered in gold. Absolutely.
You can get 30K after 5 years.
I mean, 30K, and then there'll be sisters talking about, I want 30, 40, 50K, and I ain't washing dishes, and I ain't doing this, and I ain't sharing you. I'm not going to have a co-wife. You're like, what?
I can have 30K then.
Well, mashallah, you earned it. You earned 30K, but I think you've made away off with more than 30K by now.
Oh.
You've made off with more than 30K by now. So, yeah.
Okay, I'll stay longer. Just joking.
I personally won't ask for a lot of mahar, but my dad says he won't let anyone marry me that can't meet his reasons, which baffles me. I mean, he's not getting married, so it is kind of baffling. If you're the one getting married and he's not, then, inshallah. So, yeah. Yeah, Honor H says it right. He'll probably pay 30K in a couple of years just taking care of you, paying rent, bills, and whatever else. Yeah, Honor H is right. What if I see that for a man who doesn't know how to manage your money, especially if they're thinking about getting married? You need to figure that out, because, when you have a family, you can't be playing around. There's not a lot of, unless you're making like bucket loads of money and you're making really good money, there's not a lot of leeway for mistakes, if you're just starting out or whatever else, unless you got like a lot of playroom, then I would say, figure that out real, ASAP, take some money management courses, talk to people who are good with money, and, all this type of stuff. But otherwise, I would say, hold off on getting married until you can figure it out. It shouldn't take that much to figure it out. Unnecessary expenditures and all this type of stuff, frivolous or what's that word? When you do something on the fly, spontaneous expenditures that are unnecessary, figure out what you're doing where, and then, get that straightened out. Because when you have a family, kids pop up spontaneously, like, wild Pokemon, and all this other type of stuff. And your costs they get higher and higher and higher, because you're responsible for someone else, and that's what's important to understand. You are responsible for someone else. And so if you don't have your money in order, or if you can't keep it in order, or you can't like plan really well, it's not only going to be you in trouble, it's going to be another person in trouble. And what did they do to earn that other than marrying you? Imagine that. That's their payback for, saying yes. Is getting in trouble with you. Figure it out, inshallah. How are the relations between immigrants and local Germans right now? Well, a lot of Germans don't like immigrants. I don't know how the immigrants feel about Germans. I don't hang out with anybody out here, man. I don't like nobody. So I don't know. I don't like any of these people. I can't say I don't like them, but it's just like I don't spend any time around them. But from work, I work mostly with Europeans, and they're not fans of immigrants. So yeah. I started practicing Islam this past Ramadan. After prayer, what would you recommend to focus on knowledge-wise? Memorization of the Quran and understanding of Aqidah and Manhaj. So memorizing the Quran, understanding the creed of Islam, and the methodology of the Salaf in terms of understanding Islam. Those three things. Quran, Aqidah, Manhaj. Those three things, inshallah. Yeah, I actually did a whole show about this. A man doesn't need to give a woman anything more than her maintenance. A lot of people, I did a video on that. It's been crickets. I've been waiting for my detractors to attack. Crickets. I actually went out and bought the book Fatwa Islamiyah. It's not here anymore, but it doesn't matter because I did a whole show on it. I talked about it in Fatwa Islamiyah. There's a whole book, the Book of Marriage. It's volume number 5. And yes, a man is not obliged to pay for anything other than a woman's basic maintenance, her food, coverage, shelter, and clothing. Anything other than that is considered to be a goodness from him. It's considered to be righteousness from him. And it's considered to be like, like a sadaqah from him, but it is not mandatory upon him, to the point that the ulama, both past and present, all of them are unanimous in the understanding that even when it comes down to her medical care and her medication, he's not obligated to pay for it. Now, people hated me for saying that statement, but it is the position of the 4 imams. It is the position of all the people of knowledge from the past to present. That's not my ruling. It's just one I know, but people are mad at me about that. But you can find that in Fatwa Islamiyah, volume number 5, the Book of Marriage. So the brother right here, Sarm is right. He's correct in that one. So, yeah. I agree with disagreeable men being more attractive, but what keeps women in abusive relationships? I can only speculate. That what it is the excitement. I think women who stay in abusive relationships have been in boring relationships. And I think once a woman has come out of a boring relationship and she goes into an abusive one, the abusive one is more exciting. It's not better, but it's more exciting. And I think a woman would rather stay in an abusive relationship than a boring one. Because, I talk about this with women and emotional roller coasters and ups and downs. They like their emotions and whatnot, and their emotions being like, active. It's my humble estimation. That's what I think. Y'all going at it in comments here. Abu, what are your thoughts on the hymen breakage and how common do you think it is? I have no thoughts on it whatsoever. I never really thought about it. Hymen breakage? Like a woman breaks her hymen. Why did she break it? Did it break on accident? We know what happens on accident. Intentional? Did she have extracurricular activity that caused it to be broken? I don't really think about it. I never really thought about it. I vet women for particular behaviors. If she about that life, prior to Islam, or, she had a Jahiliyyah time, I vet for that type of stuff, and then the rest will fall into place. Yeah. So, yeah. Man, I'm trying to get down to the bottom of these questions. Y'all going off here. What is your ideal age for a man to marry, in your opinion? According to the Sunnah, in the Sunnah, the Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, he said marry early as possible, So, raise your sons, raise your daughters to be like, prepared for marriage at an early possible age. We have like an extended adolescence in the 21st century. We have the luxury of extended adolescence, and that's not something they had in the past. So I think we should actually remove this from ourselves and our children. Then we have to worry about, are they ready or not? So the Sunnah holds that it should be as early as possible. So that's my opinion also, inshallah. Yep, this is true. You can't expect the younger to be on the financial level of a father when he's been working for 3 or 4 decades. That's absolutely true. And I think a lot of sisters have like some false expectations. You'll find a sister's like, in her like, early 20s, 21, 22, expecting a brother to like, be able to put her in a house like her dad has. And it's like, what the heck? Your dad like worked 4 decades. Where is he supposed to like come up with this? And like, he's been on the workforce for like 7 years. It's crazy. So yeah. This is absolutely correct. I don't know anything about this. Right? Regarding the hymen show, there's no Islamic basis for this. Not everyone is born with a hymen, and not everyone bleeds when the hymen is broken. I don't know anything about it. I don't know. I don't think about it, and not from the perspective that, I mean, if there was something Islamically about it, then I'd like to know about it. I haven't read anything about it, but, I just don't think about it because it's like, in terms of the attributes that come with it, with like, extensive sexual activity in women, it's highly visible in terms of her behaviors and certain mannerisms and whatnot. So that's what would concern me more than anything else. You can get a general idea of how she's about that life or not, So anyway, yeah. Even in 30-40 sister, it's just ridiculous, man. Like expecting a guy to pay 30,000 maher. So,
30,000.
I mean, I'm 40. I'm 48. I'm 48, going on 49. I love women. I'm active with my women, whatever else. But at this age, not even when I was young and I was like crazy, Energizer Bunny energy. I wouldn't give you 30,000. No way. I'd just be like, 30,000. Like 30,000. Like, no, it's just, you know what? I'm gonna get me, a couple of more crypto miners or something that's gonna make me like, 60,000, 90,000, 120,000. You're not gonna make me that money. I mean, especially at my age now, where I know exponentially more in my age than I did back then. Definitely 30,000. I could probably turn 30,000. Allahu Akbar. 30,000 right now. I mean, liquid cash, 30,000. I mean, I can convert a lot of crypto into cash. But if I just took 30,000 right now and just put it into crypto, I could probably hit like 500,000 before the year's over. Why would I give that to you?
Because I go hoo-ha.
Yeah, because of hoo-ha? Nah, son. No. I took a lot of my money and I bought a lot of miners. Anybody who's in my membership channel knows what type of miners I bought. I bought a lot of those things. I'm going to build out the network in Germany. And, I bought a car. I bought this. I bought that. I got a bunch of stuff. But just a woman? I turned 30K into 2 million. Well, okay, we might want to talk. Oh, hit me up on the Twitter side of the game. We're going to talk, okay? You gonna turn that 30K to 2 million? We gonna talk, right? We need to talk. Maybe me and you, maybe you and I need to talk. If you're gonna turn my 30K into 2 million, then we can talk about your 30K maher. But you can't be like, built like a potato sack. If I'm gonna give you 30,000 and then trust you to turn it 2 million, and that 2 million's got to be mine, okay? You can keep the 30,000, but everything else has got to be mine. All right? You can keep the 30,000. But that 1.7, that's mine. Okay. So you value your cars over wives? Yes. Over new wives? Yes. My current ones, no. But new wives, yes. If I'm sitting here, I'm like, car, new wife. Yeah. I'm gonna drive the heck out of that car. For sure, I'm gonna drive the heck out of that car. So would you accept a small amount if you had a daughter? Absolutely. Yes. Why not? That's why I'm vetting a man for the best possible husband possible. Because she's gonna get a good husband. Why do I need to sell my daughter off? If I think there's only horrible men left, yeah, I'm gonna get a lot of money. I'm just like, look, these dudes suck dirty cow butthole. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna milk them for everything we can get, so that you can, like, the moment it all falls apart, you got like a bunch of money. Yeah, then I do that.
Sounds like red flags that if a man give away a lot of money.
But if I find her a good husband, why do I need to worry? What does he need to charge? Hey, that's a good dude. You better get that deal right now. Let's go. When you see a good deal on a sale, do you like, well, if it was my store, would I put it on sale? No, it's not a matter of being on sale or whatever else, man. It's a good deal. Go for it. Take it now. Why are you trying to like bargain a good deal? You crazy? You know how hard it is to get a good deal nowadays? Now you're going to price yourself off the market? Okay, go ahead. Price yourself out the market. Inshallah. $5 super chat. Oh, man. Phoenix Knight, man. Barakallah Feek, man. You might have to hit me up on Twitter, Phoenix. I talked to you on Twitter, Phoenix. Hit me up on Twitter, man. Is it bad etiquette to look for another additional wife when the current wife has a baby under 1 or 2 years old? No. Women insecure and ask. My wife says no. I don't think so either. I don't think it's bad manners. Humble me. Men like men like women. That's just a simple fact, you know. And there's no timeline on how men like women. We just like women all the time. Whether she has a kid or whether she doesn't have a kid. This is how single moms get married. You know what I mean? We just like women with kids. We like women without kids. We just like women. So I don't think it's rude. I think it can be gone about in a rude way. I think, you know, some guys can go about it. Well, since you have the kid, you know, you got that tire on your waist. What, you know, even if she got a tire on her waist, she might not want to bring that up. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. It's like, yeah, you know, it can be done in a rude way, but I don't think it's at its core, you know, it necessitates that it has to be rude just because you're looking for another wife. And, you know, she's, whatchamacallit. And she just had a kid, you know, so yeah. Potato sack, how rude. I don't want a woman that looks like a potato sack. You know, some refrigerator built, linebacker built sister. Ew. Yeah, you're welcome, sister. We'll see you, inshallah. How do you prevent kids from reacting negatively to polygamy? Raise them in the environment. You raise an environment and be positive. You know, don't be like in dysfunctional marriages. And inshallah, they shouldn't have whatchamacallit. Then they shouldn't be, what do you call this? There should be a negative perspective towards it. You know, I mean, if everybody's like happy and everybody's like, you know, satisfied in their marriage, then why would they have negative perspective on it? If all the wives are happy and the husband is happy, why would a kid have a negative perspective on the marriage? Well, that tells you something. That means that somewhere, someone, aka probably the mother, is whispering poison in the child's ear. And so she's, you know, you need to look at that. What are the causes of Islamic divorce? Social media. 100% in the 21st century, one of the number one causes. One of the number one causes of divorce in Muslims today is social media. Is a woman allowed to ask her husband to work out? Yeah, why not? Is a woman allowed to ask her husband to work out if she wants him to appear more attractive to her? Yeah, why not? I mean, ask him. But the thing is, like, just don't lead on like, oh, I saw this video of Ronaldo and he was looking so hot. George, Brad Pitt, he was looking so sexy in Fight Club, and I wish you looked like that. Yeah, it's just kind of, guys have egos. You might want to be careful how you approach that topic, but it's like, baby, you ever thought about going to the gym, working out, whatever else, this, that, the other, just be suggestive, be smooth. Don't be a dork about it, You're a fat slob. Yeah. You start going on crazy, he's going to probably feel some kind of way about it, But yeah, I've been saying this for a while. Yeah. Brothers need to be working out anyway, No, why would they see it as cheating? Where would a child get the concept of cheating? I have a 2-year-old son. He's met my co-wife. To him, she's just like, that auntie that comes around, There's no concept in their mind of cheating. Where would they get that concept from? Unless someone taught it to them. Are we going to come? We're coming up on 2 hours and 2.5 hours, guys. So I'm going to close this down here a little bit, inshallah. Should you tell a potential wife that you want her? What? See, my tongue's getting tired. Should you tell a potential wife what you don't want her to do in marriage, like not shout at you, to not call you names ever, etc., etc.? You can tell her that, but that doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean she won't do it. Yeah, I mean, you can say all you want. I mean, what I think is more realistic is that you set those boundaries once you're married, because where is this a healthy relationship? It happens. Obviously, people get upset and they yell, whatever else, but it's really not healthy. I didn't grow up in a house where there was a bunch of yelling, screaming between my mom and dad. So it's not really a behavior that I like to take part in. I yell sometimes, but it's not something I like to do, and at the same time, I don't like it if, my wife would yell at me, although she doesn't yell at me, just like, it's just not something I like. Generally, I don't even yell. I'm just like, I just don't say anything to her again. I just like, well, why? And because I don't like repeating myself. It's something I despise, repeating myself. And see, she laughed because she knows what I'm talking about. So I mean, this is just dysfunctional behavior. That's something I wouldn't tolerate, period. So if you get married, and then that starts happening, you need to nip that in the bud, because like that's just like behavior that's not acceptable in my humble opinion. Putting hands on one another, you know, and like yelling at each other, all this type of stuff. This is stuff that makes me want to walk away from a marriage. You know, if someone gets you that mad to where it's like you want to put hands on them or whatever else, or all that type of stuff, you want to start yelling at them and cussing at them or whatever else, or they start doing it to you, then you need to really start looking at whether or not you belong together as a couple. And, you know, and don't get mad because you get divorced. Oh, Abuamerican's been divorced 19 times. Yeah, well, if I stayed married to some of these women and start punching them in the head and like giving them black eyes and throwing them through walls, then what would be worse? What am I? Is the bad guy the guy who stays in an abusive marriage, lets a woman abuse him or abuses the woman? Or the guy who just says, you know what, hey, this ain't working. Let's walk away from this. There's no obligation for you to stay in an abusive marriage. So, you know, if she or he will not accept those boundaries, that this is acceptable or unacceptable behavior, then maybe it's time to walk away from it. Inshallah. Talal Adam with the $10 super chat. Barakallahu feek, homie. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What are your thoughts on using APY using platforms to increase yield of your crypto portfolio? I'm new to crypto, but I don't want to break the rules of Islam to culture crypto. Okay. Generally, these things are all like, 1 second. Let me make sure. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Yeah. Okay. No, I understood it right. Yeah. I just want to make sure I understood the question right. I stay away from that stuff. Like if you look at like Celsius is a coin. If you just bought and held Celsius, you'd make a lot of money. Celsius. Okay. Well, now I don't know what, let me see what Celsius is at right now. I don't know what Celsius is at, but I'm just using Celsius as the example because it's a good example for what you're talking about right now. Celsius network. So here we go. So yeah, Celsius is on decline like everything else. But if you invested in Celsius, like, you know, let me see. Let me take the 1 month. Let me take the 1 year. Back when it first came out and it was like running around like 20 something cents. And at its peak, it was at $7.92, almost $8. You'd have made a lot of money. You know, if you just put like $10,000 into like, you know, Celsius or whatever else, you'd kill it. But that's only buying and holding. But even buying and holding Celsius, I would say, is impermissible. Allahu alam, I'm not trying to make a fatwa here, because Celsius at its core is all about lending money. Now, most of the time when you put your crypto to work, it's used on lending platforms. So that APY that you're getting, that you're earning, is based upon them taking your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, or whatever else, and then giving it to someone else, using it as liquidity on a loan that person can, like, you know, take more than he actually owns to spend money or buy or build out or something, whatever else. It's literally just a loan. They've taken the riba system and put it into crypto. And so when you start to like put your crypto into these programs, despite the high like returns, make no question, let there be no doubt that that's what you're doing. You're just taking part of the lending, like a bank/lending system. I don't know if that made sense, if that's clear. Basically, you are going to be earning riba. You will be giving your money to someone who will be loaning it to someone else at a percentage. So I would avoid that. That's my humble estimation. Yeah. Hey, what you doing? Kid. You just sticking her head through the curtains. Like, what are you doing? You trying to end up on a video. No. I haven't been to the States in like 30 something years, bro. So no. But I don't have any problems with the state, meaning AKA the judge, you know, the system, because like I tell everybody, don't get legally married, get Islamically married. Why would you get legally married anyway? Yeah. I think it would be difficult. You know, what you have is you have a problem where it's like you've got the culture pulling your kids one way and you got your Islamic teachings pulling them the other way. So, you know, I think it'd be difficult, you know, to do that. My husband threatens to physically harm me. Should I leave him? And you're asking some big stuff right there. I mean, if he's just threatening you and he's not actually doing it, then I mean, I think that's very different. You know, I mean, you might have the fear of being harmed, but is he actually harming you? If he's actually harming you, you don't have to crawl, man. What are you doing? Walk, go. Threats and actual harm are two different things. He shouldn't threaten you. That's the first thing. He shouldn't threaten you. I don't know if that I'd say leave your husband for that. I definitely say have your guardian speak to him about that. It's not something he should be doing. It's inappropriate. It's Islamically incorrect for him to be threatening her. He shouldn't be doing that. You know, you, not her. Yeah, it's just something he shouldn't be doing, threatening you. If he's actually harming you, then yeah, you're in a dangerous situation. And then, you know, I don't like talking about this type of stuff, but I think you should leave the situation, separate from the situation. If physical harm is actually taking place, you know, you should be separated from the situation and have it sorted out by your wakil or your wali, your guardian. But if he's just threatening you and he's like, I'm gonna knock you out, I'm gonna hit you in the teeth, and he never hits you in the teeth or anything like this, then someone should speak to him anyway, and how this is inappropriate and he shouldn't do this. But I definitely don't think you should leave. So just to be clear, if physical harm is actually taking place, then you're in a dangerous situation, and you should probably, you know, call your guardian to come collect you ASAP. You know, there's no reason for anybody to be standing around, sitting around, taking kicks to the stomach, punches to the faces, all that type of stuff. Absolutely haram, absolutely incorrect. It's not something that should be happening. This is something your guardian needs to immediately, you know, intervene in and take you out of the situation so that you're protected from harm, inshallah. Secondly, if he's just threatening you, but he's not actually harming you, I wouldn't say leave, but definitely call your guardian and say, hey, you know, he's actually threatening to hit me. He's threatening, he's saying he's going to hit me. He's going to knock me out, whatever else, this type of the other, whatever else. Your guardian needs to talk to him, because this is inappropriate also. You know, I mean, why would you do that? I don't know why a person would do that, you know, and this to me, this is one of the reasons why I have several divorces. Because when I come to the point where it's like, I feel like I want to like just punch you in the head, or I want to talk to you a certain way that's like incorrect. Why am I going to do that to myself? You know, that's something I got to live with. I'm not going to do that. You know, it's like, I feel a certain way. It's like, man, I want to just hit that woman in her head. God, I hate you. You have to imagine what goes through a man's head when he wants to physically harm his woman, or it comes out of his mouth that he desires to harm his woman. You have to be introspective as a man to think about that. Why would I stay married? Why? I'm miserable. I want to harm people I hate. I want to harm people I dislike. And when it comes into my head, or it comes out of the mouth that, you know, I want to harm you either emotionally or physically, marriage is over, man. It's over. That takes a certain point to get to. Now, I'm not saying your marriage is over. Excuse me, sister. I'm talking about my personal perspective. You know, for me, it's Abuamerican. But I'm just saying, like, someone should speak to him if he's just threatening you and he's not actually harming you. If he's harming you, you need to leave the situation immediately, inshallah. Do I trade crypto? Yes and no. I don't actively trade. I have some trading bots that are running. It's permissible. But, you know, I don't actively trade anymore. I just mine. I mine crypto only. Allahu Alam. You have to ask the ulama for that one. You have to ask the scholars that one. What would you recommend to grow my portfolio the halal way? We have a brother in my men's community. He's a brother. I think he lives on the West Coast. That brother started a portfolio about 7 years ago. He is over $1 million. He was over $1 million in like 5 years. And in his next year, he doubled his portfolio in a full another year. So it took him 5 years to reach $1 million. And then in 1 year after that, he got up to 2 million. So 5 years to get to 1 million. And then on year number 6, he was at 2 million. He's the best brother to ask for that. I can't help you with that one like he can. When he speaks on portfolio building and all that type of stuff, I'm absolutely signed. He's in my med community. I absolutely listen when he speaks. Brother knows what he's talking about. He's got the proof. He's dropped screenshots. He's dropped the receipts. He talked about how he did it, what he did, step by step. The brother's quite good at it. So, yeah. And I can't repeat that stuff with like the concise, you know, information he did. But he did it in 5 years, bro. I think that's pretty good. You know. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna rain. You're gonna have to close up the windows for the miners. But well, I need to shut this down soon anyway. Well, hey, wait. I have to turn off the camera.
It's upstairs.
Yeah, but you can see like on the stairs right here.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. All right, guys. I'm gonna turn the camera because my wife's gonna go. I got some miners upstairs that are running, and like there's windows upstairs that are open, and when it rains, water gets on the miners, and so she's gonna go close the windows for me so my miners don't get wet and fry out. Sister, be careful with that. Like, leave. It's emotional abuse. I mean, it's incorrect of them, and I absolutely agree. It's Islamically incorrect, but be careful in advising people to leave their husbands and their wives and all this type of stuff. I don't like. That's why I don't like talking about this stuff. I mean, I'm not. I've been divorced enough times, and I don't want anybody telling my partners to leave, don't leave, whatever else. You're taking on a lot of responsibility when you're saying leave. It's not something I like to do. So yeah. Okay. So. Yeah. Would it be acceptable to let your children watch shows like Cinema, etc.? Generally, I'm not a fan of TV at all with children. I'm not a big fan of it. I literally have like a very select like stuff I watch, and like when I like edit my book, I have to have something running in the background. So when I'm editing my book, there's something running in the background. But generally, I try not to watch or consume a lot of social media. There's like a brother posted a picture of like children who had so many hours of TV time versus pictures drawn by kids with less TV time, and the difference in their abilities to draw was like massive. They were same age and everything else. The only thing that differed between those children was TV time. I think TV time is quite harmful to children. Period. Best advice you would give your 25-year-old son self: stick to everything you do. Your ideas are good. Stick to them. I've given him so many ideas that were like excellent ideas.
Oh, you're not trying to find me?
Why are trying to find you? How old were you when I was 25? That'd be like real pervy. I think he was like a little kid.
Yeah.
Wait, 25?
Yeah.
Yeah, heck no.
Yeah, you can fly to Indonesia and just like.
When you just hit on a little schoolgirl.
Now, I'll wait a little bit longer.
And just hang around and be the creep waiting for the schoolgirl. Okay. I'd advise myself not to be a creepy guy like waiting around the school for Indonesian girls. That's for sure. Don't take your wife's advice. Your ideas are good. Stick to them, and then pick a plan and stick to it. Also, do your research. I just tell myself I tell my son and I tell him now is do due diligence. Find a career field that's good. Stick to that plan. And have a backup plan in terms of like a trade or a skill or whatever else, but something in the form of a hobby. Yeah. It's confused because I think a lot of kids shows are the stem of Western brainwashing, but what if we can supervise them as they're watching? Yeah, but then that's the thing. You're supervising it real time, and if something slips through, you never know how this stuff is going to affect children. Child psychology is like, very fickle. And like the results of like all this TV, whatever else, and all like social media, we don't even know what's happening right now. I don't even think we still know. And we've had decades and generations of TV, and I still don't think we've seen like the overall, the overall consequences. Honor H says it right. Stay away from all shows. It's not worth the risk. I think it's not worth the risk. I'm not a big fan of TV and kids. Yeah, that's my thing. Guys, thanks for tuning in, man. We've been on here for like 2 hours and 40 minutes, man. This is the longest show ever, I think. But like I said, I want to give you guys some time because I don't do shows like I used to. Hopefully before the year's over, I'll be back on a regular schedule, but I've been working like an animal on like all my projects. So, and just trying to spend time with my people. So inshallah, I don't mind giving you guys some extra time. Barakallahu feek for tuning in. Anything that I said is from my own self and my own mistakes, and anything is correct, then barakallah, then alhamdulillah, Allahumma barak feek, then it's something that Allah has blessed me with in terms of knowledge. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.